Final number 2, Sandhurst and Gisborne, as we are 21 minutes into the last quarter. Gisborne 2:10.22, Sandhurst 5:6.36. Sandhurst have already got their under-18s into the grand final. They beat Golden Square by 2 points this morning. The big senior contest to come after this. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Back here at the QEO, it is semi-final number 2, Sandhurst and Gisborne. Cam Power, myself, Don Moran, and John Hunter. Johnny Hunter is joining us up here in the box for the first time this afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Johnny.
Good afternoon, Cam and Don. Great to be here in fantastic conditions. We've had wind, we've had rain in the last couple of weeks, and today, what an absolute cracker to play football. I've been walking amongst the crowd too, and there's a good feel about it. A lot of Sandhurst people, because they're competing in everything except for the Canteen Stakes, I reckon, Cam. That's how good they're going this year.
Yeah, they have got every grade of netball playing today, every grade of football. And here in the footy, they're already booked themselves a spot in the under-18s grand final with a 2-point win over Golden Square. And only moments ago, Johnny, the reserves, they finished up. Sandhurst 5-6-36 to Gisborne 3-10-28. So Gisborne roll on. They'll play the winner of Strathfield Say and Golden Square tomorrow in the reserves, while the under-18 Sandhurst and reserves Sandhurst have already got grand final spots booked. Will they do it again in the seniors, Johnny?
Well, right from word go, I thought that Sandhurst this year, they've got a point to prove last year. They've got unfinished business. The Sandhurst that I've seen this year have been really terrific running the lines, and really their movement off half-back. Not saying that Gisborne aren't, but just in my mind, I feel like they're the side to me that's going to win, Don.
Yeah, after losing a grand final, and the list probably stayed very, very tight and similar to that loss. So there's a lot of hurt in there, and they were. I really think that what I saw from their pre-season, pre-Christmas, they were back at it before Christmas. So it must have hurt pretty hard to be that form team last year and then to lose. So having another crack is what you got to do, and that's what's been evident all year.
Now, before we get into the big preview of this senior game, neither team are out on the ground just yet. Let's go and have a look at what's going on out at Huntly, Johnny. It's grand final day in the Heathcote District Footy League, and we've got an under-18s and a reserves result. White Hills have won both of those games, so under-18s and reserves premierships to White Hills. In the under-18s, they beat Lockington 12-6-78 to Lockington 9-11-65. White Hills kicking 5 goals to 1 in the last quarter to win by 13 points. And in the reserves, White Hills again getting the victory over Mount Pleasant this time. They won that one by 14 points. So the big senior contest going on is White Hills and Leachville-Gumbower. Leachville-Gumbower, massive underdogs in this game, but White Hills are looking for a clean sweep of all grades of football this afternoon, John Hunter. How do you see that game playing out? Who wins?
Well, I think Gisborne. I think White Hills will win it, Cam. They seem to be the Sandhurst of that particular competition, and in conditions like this, I think they'll win pretty comfortably.
So the only thing that I look at is when White Hills and Leachville-Gumbower last played, White Hills only beat them by 3 points at White Hills.
So,
but they did have a few players out that day, Leachville-Gumbower.
Yeah.
But I can't see Leachville-Gumbower causing... On a day like today, I think White Hills will be too strong, and I think they'll win it pretty comfortably.
Hamish Morecambe out at White Hills?
Nah,
Huntley, right, yeah.
But didn't make the finals this year?
No, they didn't, but he certainly had an impact going out there, just on another note. But no, White Hills for me, Cam.
So, Johnny, you got a tip in that game?
I'm going with John. Solid advice. We'll go with White Hills.
I can just give you some netball updates too, Cam. Sorry. Yep. So earlier today, in the speaking of Sandhurst, in the 17 and under, Sandhurst have ended up victorious in that game. Sandhurst 60 against Golden Square 39. B Reserve, Sandhurst got beaten by Gisborne 45-50, so they're 1 each there. And the A Reserve is just underway, so it's 4-5. Gisborne are trailing Sandhurst, so Gisborne and Sandhurst making another appearance in the netball.
Yeah, all grades of netball today is Sandhurst and Gisborne, except the under-17s, which was Golden Square. So I guess the rather disappointing thing here is there's only 3 teams being involved on semi-final day. But let's have a look at the North Central. They've got their prelim finals today. It is Wedderburn taking on Sea Lake out at Charlton. Should be a terrific game, that one. Looking forward to seeing how the Sea Lake Nandaly Tigers bounce back after a very close 2-point loss to Birchip Watcham last weekend. And in the Loddon Valley Footy League, it is also another, we've got the prelim final there. Morong will be taking on Bridgewater, with the winner to take on Pyramid Hill in the grand final next week. In the under-18s earlier today in the Loddon Valley, it was Morong 16-24, 120, defeating Inglewood 117. How do we see that game playing out, Johnny? And is it going to be a case of what everyone's kind of predicted all year, Morong Pyramid Hill grand final day, or can Bridgewater cause a little bit of an upset, and with players like Rick Gladson and Lee Coughlin, Lockie Sharp? I think Bridgewater are a red-hot chance to get the victory today.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth when it comes to naming those big players. I was going to say Lachlan Sharp in particular. And all of them that you mentioned, Ladson, Coughlin, big game performance at a very high level. But Lockie Sharp, I don't know what his tally's at now, but it's well over 100.
126, I think it was last year.
Conditions like this in a, I mean this respectfully, a lower league, and he's still showing the goods. He could potentially have a big afternoon, particularly for delivery in these conditions. So I haven't written Bridgewater off at all.
No, I'm thinking Bridgewater can possibly cause the upset. I'm looking forward to that game, though. I wouldn't be surprised if that game goes right down to the wire. Of course, they did beat Bears Lagoon Serpentine by 1 point last week, whereas Moron come off after a bit of a heavy defeat to Pyramid Hill. So Pyramid Hill awaits the winner of that game. You got a tip for that game at all, Don Moran?
I'm going to go with you, Cam. I'll go with what you reckon. Haven't looked at it that overly that closely, so thanks for throwing me again.
Good insight from Don Moran. In the MCDF finale, Norm Jenkins not with us this afternoon. He's out watching. It is Trentham and Lexton. They're playing battle tomorrow, but it is Natty Bielaba and Harcourt. 1 versus 2. They were 1-1 across the season when they both met, and most people kind of assumed that it would be a Natty Bielaba Harcourt grand final until Trentham threw a real spanner into the works in the first qualifying final. They defeated Harcourt, which means Harcourt have now got to take on Natty Bielaba for a spot in the grand final. John Hunter looking forward to that game, and I feel like with Harcourt going down to Trentham, it's really hurt their chances. I can see Natty Bielaba getting a comfortable win this afternoon in that game. I just feel like Natty are just really primed to go. They beat Lexton by 107 points in the first qualifying final, and Lexton are doing battle tomorrow against Trentham. So that form line to me suggests that Natty Bielaba will be a lot stronger.
Yeah, and look, I obviously didn't see the game against Harcourt when they got disappointingly beaten by a big margin a couple of weeks ago. People that were there were telling me, Cam, that it just wasn't the Harcourt that they didn't really defend as well as they had in the past. They didn't look after their teammates, as in blocking and tackling and all those things that you need to do when you to win a grand final. And you know what? I think those things come naturally after you've won a couple in a row. They weren't beaten for 2.5 seasons. So I just think they're probably at the back end of it. Talent-wise, they're no doubt about it. They've got Geordie Gartside came back into the side. He took a week off in the final series. I think that hurt them, not only on the field. I don't think there was some players there that were happy that he missed a game. So he's back in there. But I actually can see, if you could call an upset, I could see Harcourt getting beaten this afternoon for sure.
Harcourt getting beaten? Or?
Getting beaten, yeah. I'm going to go...
Harcourt getting beaten wouldn't be an upset. Natty Bielaba has been the top side all year.
No, that's right. But if you look at it over a consistent period of time...
over a long period of time.
And they've won the last couple of flags, that's what I'm probably
that makes sense.
leaning towards, yeah.
So Natty Bielaba, I'm thinking they'll win that game as well. And then tomorrow, Trentham will do battle with Lexton for the other spot in the grand final. But in my opinion on the MCDF finale, I think it's hard to say whoever wins today will probably go in as strong favourites next weekend against either Trentham or Lexton.
Oh, yeah, Natty, I think for a little while in my mind as well. And it's probably a shame that they're meeting Harcourt in the preliminary final, because I think that may have been a better grand final next week, albeit they'll probably end up, playing against Trentham, which Trentham beat Harcourt pretty convincingly a couple of weeks ago.
So looking forward to what's going out on the MCDF finale action today. There will be plenty of scores going on from all around the grounds. Of course, the big one we'll be keeping an eye on is the Heathcote Footy League Grand Final at Huntley. It is Leachville-Gunbower up against White Hills. White Hills have already got the under-18s and the reserves Grand Finals in the bag. They're looking to make it all 3. Let's go back here to the QEO. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. It is time to preview the big semi-final here. Sandhurst and Gisborne. John Hunter, I'm really looking forward to this battle this afternoon. And I think it's going to be a real battle of the midfielders today. And whoever's midfield can get on top. And I'm really excited to see it. Benaki versus Tarju. And I hope to see those two line up on each other for periods of time, because I feel like those two are the players that whoever has a big game out of those two will really go a long way to their team winning today. Yeah,
and I just want to touch, before we talk about that, the Castlemaine girls side won their 3rd premiership in a row last night, Cam, a 3-peat. So that's a very, very good effort for the Castlemaine girls.
Yes, last night here at the QEO, so I completely forgot about that game, the women's grand final. So, yeah, were you down here having a look at that game for Castlemaine?
No, I wasn't, No, I had domestic duties to attend to, but some very excited girls and a very excited Castlemaine Football Club. But let's get back to this
and of
final.
course, they've got the under-18s in tomorrow as well. So
tomorrow,
good things happening out at Castlemaine. They're playing Gisborne.
They're playing Gisborne. You wouldn't expect them to get over that. But this game here, Cam, the player that I'm really looking forward to, and it's all about players that can play well in finals. And really, the one that we've seen all year when we've seen Gisborne is number 18, Dylan Johnson. Didn't he actually put a performance on last week, Don? And I can't remember if you saw him early in the year with us, but he got dragged out of one of the sides like Macedon or Woodend or Heskett, knocked on their door, and all of a sudden he's a prime mover. So I know you mentioned some big names there, Cam, but he hits the scoreboard, he runs off a wing. So if Sandhurst don't put any work into him, and you've mentioned the Tardrews, and you've mentioned the Benakis of the world, and Scanlon comes in, but keep your eye on number 18, Dylan Johnson.
Yeah, really looking forward to what he will bring to the side. The changes for today's game from last week's final: Gisborne, Jack Scanlon and Jackson Cardillo come back into the side. Don Moran and Darcy Young, Pat Trotter go out, but two big ins for Gisborne. While just the one change from Sandhurst round 18 side, which we had a look at when they had victory over Castlemaine. In comes Dayton Ureta from the Bendigo Pioneers. He was the captain of the Bendigo Pioneers this year, and he replaces Jack Keating, who played in the reserves in the game just gone. But that's the changes for today's game. And Scanlon and Cardillo, two massive ins for the Gisborne Bulldogs, Don. Yeah,
well, we talked pre-match about the midfield, and both midfields just got so much depth and ability to throw other blokes in there, which, you know, you look at Gisborne's midfield from Lakey through to Cardillo back this week. You know, like, you start matching up. Where do you stop? Because you get to a point where you've got Cardillo, Lakey, you've got Brad Benaki in there. There's three, and then you got Noah Walsh will play through there. Nick Stagg will play through there as well, and then you got Lockie Tardrew. So the head-to-head in the midfield. I think the game's going to be one up front, and I've said all along is that. Gizzy just seemed to have a lot more of a stronger forward attack, and the heavily reliance for Sandhurst will be definitely on their key forward in Fergus Green. I was trying to, I was just nearly named his old man.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I nearly did. I
can't
be. Yeah.
So, a bold prediction before I go over to you, Johnny. My bold prediction for today's game is I feel like that maybe he might get held Fergus Green, but I reckon Kobe Maxted's going to have an absolute rippy today. I reckon he's on for a big day in the forward line for Sandhurst.
You've got some man love for him. You're always talking about him. Now, the toss has been run and won, Cam. Gisborne won the toss, and they'll be kicking to the Bendigo City end. And I'll just ask you about two players, Don. Trotter, I don't know whether he's omitted or out injured, but...
No, he played in the reserves.
Played in the reserves, so I thought he did okay last week. And, geez, you're into Macklin Lord last week.
Was I now?
Weren't you?
It was just... You pick up clangers, and I think his first four were just absolutely just clangers, and I think that was the concern. And I picked it up, and then everyone after that, it just seemed to not go well. But I saw his stats. He ended up finishing with a pretty high stat. I didn't see his efficiency, but his stat rates were pretty good off foot. But his efficiency early, so I'll probably give him the benefit of the doubt today. But you never know, if he has a clanger first up, look out.
And I reckon the one to look out for as well, Jed Danahy will take Mark of the Year today. We've seen him jump and step on step ladders and over the moon and all that kind of stuff, but he's a real jumping jack. There's no excuses in the conditions today. We've seen wind, as I said a little bit earlier. We've seen a fair bit of rain as well, but today, absolutely perfect conditions here at the QEO.
Are you going to go with that one?
Yeah.
Righto, no, that's okay.
The Danahy family. It's Danahy too, by the way, Cam.
Yeah, let's make sure
it's
not
Danahy. Yes, I've been informed during the week. So, predictions for who wins the game and why in one sentence or less, Don Moran.
I just think Izzy's up forward striking power with, who's not going to kick goals for them. So they're talls and they're smalls in there. Like, they must be just so excited being able to have Seb Bell back. So I'll be going with Gizzy today.
Well, I'm going with Sandhurst today, and simply because they have got unfinished business. Here at the QEO, it's the second semi-final here, the first of two finals this weekend on Bendigo's Fresh FM. Really looking forward to the contest this afternoon. John Hunter, Cam Power and Don Moran bringing you all the action. In the second semi-final, a local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Here's Cam Power to bring you all the action.
Yes, looking forward to this game. Should be an absolute beauty. Scott Bennett, Marcus Osborne and David Carter are your umpires. David Carter throws the ball up in the air. Blake wins the first hit down for the Dogs. They'll send the first handball backwards. It'll come out to James Gray. He sends it up towards centre half forward. No mark taken. Kerno was good on the defence. He'll then soccer it forward off the ground straight towards the boundary line. And if we were playing in the big leagues in Melbourne, it would have been pinned for insufficient intent. But we don't seem to get that paid down here. It'll be a throw in right in front of the grandstand. Broadcast side here at the QO, which is absolutely bathed in sunshine.
I reckon you mentioned more of that than you do Kobe Maxted's name, Cam. So the umpire throws it in now. Up they'll go in the ruck. Blake wins the tap for the Dogs. Taps it straight to a contest card. Dillo had the footy. We'll have to do it again. Umpire throws it up in the air. Up they'll go. Blake wins the tap again. Benaki just loses his feet at the last moment. Coughlin wins the ball for the Dragons. Paul Pratt, then he coughed it up. It's a hot one-on-one contest here. Gray might have got one too high for the Dogs, and he'll have the chance to bring the Dogs into the forward line.
So Gray plays on, short pass on the right, but he's kicked it straight to the advantage of Caleb Connick, who takes the mark. Playing in front of Harry Luxmore was Connick, so he takes the mark for the Dragons. Right-hand forward pocket across defensive 50. He'll then send it back down the grandstand side wing, but it'll go straight to Jed Dennehy. So Dennehy has it here for the Dogs, true centre wing position. Grandstand side, Lockie Hoodman's the mark in game number 50 for Sandhurst today. Given a lot of time before he kicks the ball, and it's a floater off the boot. Noah Walsh couldn't quite claim it. Spills off hands. Matty Merritt picks it up for the Dogs. Shrugs off the tackle. Merritt then steadies. He goes goalwards. Matt Merritt kicks the first goal of the day for Gisborne. Matt Merritt gets the goal, and the Dogs get the hot start. 1 straight 6, no score Sandhurst. A minute and a half into the opening quarter. Score sponsor JB Rees stumping. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
It's an ugly kick forward from Jed Dennehy, but she coughing it up Noah Walsh, and Merritt picking it up and just absolutely ambled through and just did it. He didn't look like anyone wanted to tackle him, but and even his kick was not the flashiest kick forward, but the 6 points count, and we're up and away for Gizzy.
Back in the middle for the restart now. It'll be Sexton against Blake. Blake, if the Dogs wins it, he put it down the throat of Tardru of the Dragons. Walsh getting his hands on the footy, and it spills to the broadcast side wing, but it's all with the Dogs. Merritt wins the footy, bangs it on the boot quickly. It goes towards the boundary line. Kerno of the Dragons sees it over. 51 metres from the goal he's defending, and we'll have a ball in. 1 goal straight Gisborne. Sandhurst yet to score. This opening term is brought to you by Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Throwing right on the paint of 50. It's been a hot start from Matt Merritt. Throw in shallow. Blake takes it out of the ruck. Tackled by Walsh front on. Blake then fires out the handball to Benaki. Benaki handballs off to Clough. Clough goes goalwards. Clough's kicked another one. 2 absolute rippers to start the day for the Dogs. Shane Clough. It is 2 straight Gisborne. No score as of yet Sandhurst. It is all the Dogs in the first minutes of this game. Score sponsor Parsons Towing's Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
It was a good crumb, wasn't it? Braden Blake took it out of the ruck read the ball a lot better than Connor Sexton. It was a short throw in, but he seems to have crashed into Noah Walsh and done some damage there. But geez, Walsh through again and kicked the goal. Great goal for his first goal for Jane Clough.
Back in the middle now. Hot start here by the Dogs. Up they go in the ruck. Blake will win it for the Dogs and taps it forward. Tardrul, in fact, getting involved at ground level, couldn't quite pick the footy up, and halfway between centre wing and right half forward, kicking to the city end. Dogs in attack again. Sexton with a tap, but he tapped it straight to the opposition in Normington. Now it's the Dragons. They'll win possession through Tardru. Handball forward to Hood. It's a turnover. Coughed it up. Gives it there to Spear. Spear puts it on the left and goes shallow inside forward 50. Dennehy did well. He tapped it into the direction of that man in Johnson. Goes goalward that I mentioned earlier, but it's a poor kick on the left and it goes out of bounds. Not far from the point post, and Gisborne in attack will have a ball up. 2 goals straight, 12 Gisborne lead. The Dragons yet to score, 4.5 gone, opening term.
John, I'm just trying to work out who someone for Gizzy has come off second best here.
Good crowd in. Sexton gets the first run, but he's knocked it straight to Benaki. Benaki sharks it and goals. Gisborne have come to play at the QEO. They've got 3 goals in the first 4 minutes. Sandhurst have hardly touched the footy. They seem a little bit stunned what's going on here, the Dragons. Hot start Bulldogs. Score sponsor Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine. Brad Benaki with the goal. They've got 3. Sandhurst yet to score.
Yeah, what a start. What are we? We're 4 minutes in, 3 goals. So just on the 5 now. So great crumb from Brad Bernanke, but the ruck work was magnificent again. So Gisborne 3 clearances to Sandhurst 0 right now.
It's living in the forward half for Gisborne. I don't even recall the Dragons going past the centre, really. As up they go in the ruck, it'll be Sexton against Blake. Blake taps it back into his defensive zone. Stagg runs onto it for the Dragons. He's tackled well. Polprack tries to offer support, but it's just a sea of dogs here. It's a long kick in the direction of Danahy getting his hands on the footy. This is Zach shooting it around Blake. Blake by hand to Lakey. Lakey of the Dogs gives it to Merritt. It was a kick forward. Merritt now, he's playing well. He'll go. He's got a player on in the hot spot.
Scanlon.
In fact, it's Scanlon a little bit deeper, shallower than the hot spot, but probably just outside his he'll go short, he'll go into the pocket, and he hits up McKenna underneath the scoreboard, and he's within range, but a pretty tight angle there, Don.
Geez, they've put her under pressure, haven't they? Like, have a look at the Sandhurst backs. They just don't know where to go. They want to roll off their player and support their other defender, but there's just got too many forwards at the moment just leading up, and that was just too easy.
Pat McKenna. They look on here, the Dogs. Sandhurst, as Cam said, a little bit of stunned mullet going on about him as McKenna twirls the ball between his hands. It's got blue boots on, crosses the paint mark of 50, a little step, and he goes long. He kicks through the footy. He doesn't like it off the boot, and it goes through for their first blemish of the afternoon. 3-1-19, Dogs lead the Dragons, yet to score. 6.5 gone, opening turn. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
So it'll be Curnow to bring the ball back in for the Dragons. He'll go down the poolside wing. Sends a high ball, which almost goes to the centre. Offhand, Spear couldn't quite take it. Spills out to Lakey. Lakey goes backwards. Now the Dogs have got some options short. Mark taken by McKenna, who's 65 from home. He quickly wheels around on the right. Kick bounces into the advantage of Ruff. Ruff handballs off to the player in Hood. Hood tips it into the middle and finds Sexton, who will quickly handball off to Polpratt.
Polpratt, oh no, it's in fact McLean. McLean back to Sexton. They've got the runners here. Here's your man, Maxted. Here, Cam. Maxted, he goes into the pocket, looks for Fergus Green. It was at his ankles. He was good enough to pick it up on the left, gave it to McLean. Jake McLean on the outside of the foot, goes inside, forward 50, and a good strong bark by the Dogs and Braden Blake.
So Blake will then wheel it across to Spear. Spear clears across half back into the hands of Bernanke. Bernanke's got a long kick down the line to McKenna. He hits him, true centre wing, pull side. McKenna just roosts one inside forward 50. At the back is Zach Danahy, but it won't get to him. Island's back there for the Dragons. Shrugs off a tackle, gives it off to Curnow. Curnow to Carraher. They're mucking around a little bit here, the Dragons. Eventually it comes off hands, hard up against the boundary line. Still in play. No real clean possession over there. Fighting to is Burke of the Dogs. It spills out. Now the Dragons will get a relieving kick out of defence up to centre wing, and the mark is taken, and they'll come in board to Lockie Tarju.
Tarju now, handball off to Hood. Hood defensive side of centre wing. It holds up in a little bit of a breeze here, so there's an indication. Fergus Green runs onto the footy. He's dragged down as he kicked it. He was at 48 metres. He goes goalward. It just bounces and does a little bit of at right angles. Mopping up here. Dogs, long kick. Be in the direction of Luxmore. Couldn't mark it. Centre wing, broadcast side, stoppage, ball up. 19, playing 0. Sandhurst trail 8.5 gone. Opening turn.
I'm with you there, John. It seems to be holding up into the wind, going down to the Barnard Street end.
Knock forward, Lakey. Got the handball over the top. Macklin Lords kicked down the line. And Seb Bell Bartels couldn't quite take it, but he was being held. You could see the jumper being stretched right in front of us by Carraher. So Bell Bartels, right in front of our broadcast positions, got a short pass to Danahy. This is Zach Danahy, who's 55 from home. Hard up against the boundary, right-hand side, sends it into the hot spot in the McKenna direction. He's got a couple to beat. Curnow comes to lend a hand, spills out the back. Dragons can relieve through Ureta, who tries to shrug off the tackle. He's got himself in all sorts of pressure, and it will be holding the ball. He tried to take on the tackle, did Dayton Ureta, and it is a Gisborne free kick underneath the scoreboard. They'll line him up. It might be Merritt again, I think. He's going to send it right to the top of the goal square.
I think it was Gray. He's kicked that.
And it's touched right on the line. In fact, it was James Gray.
He's had a good start, James Gray. It's probably his 4th touch.
Did almost float through in the end. It's 3-2-20 the Dogs. No score, Sandhurst. That one touch right on the line. 9.5 gone opening quarter. Score sponsor, JB re-stumping.
Curnow with the Dragons, who goes short and low to McLean down the line. It was safe. It was a bit of an awkward kick. McLean will fan it wide. He'll look for Maxted. Maxted got his fist on the ball for the Dragons. It goes towards the boundary line. And 70 from home. Dogs are attacking. Will have the ball in, and they're still stunned there, Don, aren't they, the Dragons?
They just haven't had any positive football. They just don't have much of the ball in their hand, and to take some ascendancy here, they need to get the ball in their hands and then start to look a little bit positively.
Scanlon moves into the ruck for the Dogs. Shallow ruck contest, spills out. Noah Walsh in there, couldn't take it, it spills out. Kick was smothered from Benaki, trying to find a way through. Tackling from Hood was strong. Came out now through Cooper Smith. Smith's kick up towards centre wing, off hands. Bouncing around. Gisborne have got the numbers here if they're good enough. That'll be holding the ball. Free kick against Dylan Johnson. Incorrect disposal. Advantage quickly taken away by Connick, Lockie Wright of the Dragons. He sends it inside forward 50 in the green direction. Comes off hands. It then spills out wide. Dogs will have the numbers there in defence, and it'll be cleared by Vescovi.
Vescovi on the left, ball kick. Coughed it up and kicked it straight to Joel Wharton. Now, Joel Wharton just taking his time. He's well out from goal. Good 2 kicks. He goes short pass. It'll go inside forward 50. Paul Pratt was the target. He managed to pick up the footy now. Ducks and weaves by hand. Gives it to Cooper Smith. Cooper Smith now. He'll go back inside forward 50. It's a good strong lead and a mark. It's been taken by Fergus Green. And he just needs to put it on the board to steady the Dragons.
Yeah, they finally got the ball back in their hands, a little bit of composure and a little bit of put Gisborne on the back foot. It was a terrible kick back by Vescovi that managed to pinpoint Joel Wharton there. There's a bit on behind there. Against Liam Spear for Zach Palprat involved.
50 metres.
50 metre penalty. So you can pencil that one in, Cam.
So it's going to go Fergus Green to the goal line.
Yep.
They're not even going to stand on the goal line, I don't think. If they do, it's just casually. So,
well, would you?
Well, that's a little bit of a gift because Fergus Green, albeit a good kick, he would have been kicking into a little bit of a breeze. So that's the first of the afternoon, the opener. That might steady the Dragons now. They are 1 goal straight, 6. They trail 3-2-20. Scoreboard sponsor, Don Smallgood. Don is good. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo, 12 gone opening term.
We've always said that we're not privy to some stats. Well, I've got some stats here. Gisborne have had 5 centre clearances to Sandhurst's 1. So, and the F50, 6v3.
So it shows the dominance in the middle. Sexton tried to get it, but it's sharked by Cadillo. Quickly bangs it inside forward 50 in the direction of McKenna off hands. Carraher will be back there first for the Dragons. Then he ran into some trouble and he will be relieved. Umpire Carter crosses his arms, says I'll ball it up just inside forward 50. Gisborne in attack, looking to respond after Sandhurst just kicked their first goal of the game only moments ago. Dennehy went up in the ruck. That was Zach. Comes off hands. And they all dive on top of this one and we'll have a ball up.
So, just a little bit of argy-bargy going on. Umpire Carter will throw it up. 30 metres out, directly in front. Gisborne in attack to the city end. Goes down the throat of Tardrew. Handball over the top to Carraher. Put it on the left. It was an awkward one. Ended up with Benaki. Turnover. Benaki back into the corridor. Paul kick. Gave it to Paul Pratt of the Dragons. Paul Pratt will go looking for Maxted. But now another turnover. Gray. He's tackled for the Dogs. Umpire let it go. Picked up by Scanlon of the Dogs. Puts it inside forward 50 looking for Johnson, who's pushed down forward because they know he's a target. It will be another stoppage. 35 out from goal. Gisborne in attack. 14-point margin. Dogs lead. 13.5 minutes gone. Opening term. The opening term brought to you by our sponsor, Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Sexton won it down in the ruck. Connick was there. Managed to tap it into the hands of Island, who booms the kick out of defence for the Dragons. It works out all right. They've got the run on the far wing. It's Matt Wilkinson who's got it. Wilkinson goes up towards Green. Didn't quite get the bounce he was after. Coughlin's in there for the Dragons. Spills out, though, for the Dogs. They can't quite take the clean possession. Eventually, Wilkinson will take it again. But he'll be taking the ground. We'll have a ball up through centre wing on the pool side of the QEO here. It is semi-final number 2. Gisborne taking on Sandhurst.
Dogs by 14 points. Dominating this opening term. Dragons have only got 1 on the board through a 50-metre penalty. Trying to make a path there will be Cardillo for the Dogs. He's all tied up. Halfway between centre wing And right half forward, Sandhurst in attack. It'll be a ball up. Up they go in the ruck now. Sexton might have got one too high. Umpire let it go. Lakey now for the Dogs. Spills the ball out to the wing. Soccer off the ground. Attempt by Cardillo of the Dogs. They've got numbers. They're moving it nicely through the middle here. Dogs inside forward 50. Blake picked it up at knee level. Oh, he looked at it like a little man and he'll put it through for a behind. Deserved more. Wow, what a good bit of play. 21 playing 6, Sandhurst lead, 15 minutes gone opening turn.
So if the people didn't see that, the vision of that, he's 200 centimetres, Braden Blake, and he's picked that absolute ground ball up and made their defence look silly. Unfortunately, missed the shot on goal.
Would have been a highlight if you put that through. Liam Island mightn't have thought so, though. Harrison Free brings the kick back into play for the Dragons. Clears it out to about 60 metres, right to the point of the square, poolside wing where a stoppage was called. Ball up again. Knocked down. No real clean possession out of this one. The players will just dive on top of this one. Taju comes in to make sure the umpire crosses his arms for the ball up. 55 out from goal, Gisborne. They've already put 3 on the board this afternoon. Sexton won it down, straight to ground level. Cadillo got out into some space. Handball backwards to Lakey. Lakey's little chip ball inside forward 50. Almost landed in the hands of Luxmore. It then come off hands. They'll clear the kick up the wing. Good intercept mark by Spear. Not paid. Spills to ground level. And, well, the umpire really letting this one go. That's a clear throw out the back. Not doing good tackle from Cardillo. And it comes to ground level. Eventually, the umpire crosses his arms and says, I'll have a ball up.
Match in progress in the netball. Gisborne in the A reserve. They lead Sandhurst 24-17. Only halfway through that game. The A grade is next. And, of course, it is Sandhurst and Gisborne again. They're playing all afternoon except for the early game as the ball is on the outer side wing. It might be out of bounds on the full and it will be a free kick to Reaper of the Dogs. Swimming pool side. Kick into the city end. Short pass forward. It's poor. He puts his teammate under pressure. That's Normington. They managed to cough it up here. It, in fact, goes to the outer side wing. And we've got a whistle on play and it'll be a mark. And it'll go the way of the Dogs. Long kick forward. It'll go shallow inside forward 50.
It was Luxmore that delivered it.
To McKenna.
A beautiful kick out to McKenna, who marks it diving on his chest. Right on the 50, Pat McKenna. He's got an option in the square in Johnson if he wants it, but he looks like he's going to back himself from here. So he's 55 out, right on the boundary line. Almost underneath the scoreboard here at the QEO. He almost on the netball courts, in fact. He then decides to chip it into the pocket looking for Luxmore, but Tanner Nally was playing one-on-one defence, and Nally knocks it over the boundary line for a boundary throw-in underneath the scoreboard, which reads Gisborne 3-3-21, Sandhurst 1 straight 6, 18 minutes gone in the opening quarter, semi-final number 2.
So the umpire will throw it in. It's deep in the forward zone. Scanlon doing the ruck work for the Dogs, as it will be a stoppage. Another ball up. So marred by a few stoppages too, Don.
Yeah, and just that last kick in from Paddy McKenna, I don't think they're on the same page, him and Harry Luxmore, with that entry there.
Sexton wins the tap for the Dragons, put it down the throat of his teammate there, Paul Pratt. It's another turnover. It goes to the hot spot. Bell Bartel's got his hands on the footy, offering support as McKenna. Good, strong tackling by Carragher of the Dragons. Saved a certain goal. Now it's back in dispute at the top of the square. 25 out. We'll have a ball up. And it's 21 playing 16. It's the Dogs that lead.
Unlucky for Sandhurst then. I would say that was nearly incorrect disposal, John, against Paddy McKenna.
Taju will get the clearance and just bang it out of there for the Dragons. Goes up in the Wharton direction, who's got the match up there on Shapano. Spills out wide. Shapano didn't quite get the bounce he was after. Wharton still in there. And eventually it spills. Umpire letting this game really play. And eventually we'll have a ball up. Grandstand side wing, a little bit going on off the ball here. James Gray involved as well as Stagg for the Dragons, but we'll ball it up. Blake got the win of the contest down, but straight to a teammate who was taken in a strong tackle by 2 Sandhurst players, and we'll have a ball up centre wing position in grandstand side.
Sun is shining here at the QEO. It's finals football, the home of country football. Winning the ball will be Spear. He was good last week there for the Dogs. He put it in the path of Merritt. Merritt couldn't collect it. They somehow move it forward again. Cardillo getting involved, sharing it round to Scanlon. Scanlon, poor kick. He kicked it straight to the opposition and Nally dropped a mark that he should have taken. Johnson sharked the footy, my man, on the left and slammed it through. That's his first of the afternoon. Playing pretty deep this afternoon every time I've called his name, but he will run back to the wing. Score sponsor, Jason Westcott Builder. That takes the Dogs to 4-3-27 to Sandhurst. 1 goal straight, 6-19 gone opening term.
Oh, Tananelli, like that short kick in from Jack Scanlon, it was pretty ugly, but he's just popped that, and guess who, John? Guess who? Dylan Johnson.
I said look out for him, Don.
Crikey, how good was that?
He's back up on the wing too, I see, on Connick.
So ball up in the middle here. Starting to get away. Nally gets the handball to Coghlan, and Coghlan to Ureta. Ureta further forward, gets it into the hands of Palprat. Palprat's kick out to a strong leading Maxted, strong above his head. Quickly wheels around onto the right. He's got some options in the pocket. Beautiful kick, Maxted, and he absolutely laced out Matty Wilkinson in the right-hand forward pocket. He'll line him up from 40 metres out, about 10 metres in from the boundary line. Matt Wilkinson. And this is a much-needed goal, I reckon, for Sandhurst if he's to put this one through. So Matty Wilkinson will start his approach. Will come in. He'll put the kick on his right, goes goalwards, it swings right across the face, and Mark almost taken on the goal line by Maxted, but it comes off hands and through for a minor score. So their first blemish, they're 1-1-7. The Dogs 4-3-27.
Dogs don't muck around with kicking it in. It ended up with Blake on half-back, broadcast side. He's having an influence, big Braden Blake. You go corridor, it was a little bit of a poor kick, made Merritt work for it, causes a turnover now. They'll go inside forward 50. Jake McLean looks for Maxted. Maxted picks it up and handballs it cutely over the top. But the Dogs will see it over the boundary line through Vescovi under pressure, and we'll have another ball in. 15 metres around from goal. Sandhurst attack. Barnard Street end. They trail by 20 points to the Dragons, 21 gone, opening term.
Yeah, Braden Blake could have done better with that kick. Couldn't he back inside and then cook the footy?
Maxted goes into the ruck, but he gives away a little bit of height as Blake was playing in front. Handball to Dennehy. He clears the kick out of defence. Flying in from behind and taking a terrific grab was Benaki. All eyes for the footy, going back with the flight. Terrific grab. Brad Benaki, he is a superb player for the Dogs. He quickly gets going. Long ball down the wing. And as you say that, well, his kick actually carries over the back because 2 Sandhurst players through for it. Spell Bartels was ground level. He sharked it, got it to McKenna. McKenna goes to the one-on-one for Johnston. Playing in front, though, was Connick. He's able to clear himself out of pressure. Handball to Bryce Curnow. Curnow handballs backwards to Smith. They'll hug the boundary line. Cooper Smith's kick is okay. And he'll find its way into the hands of a teammate. They'll clear it out of defence, the Dragons.
Jake McLean. And I reckon, Don, that clearly Johnson's been instructed to play really deep and push forward, because unless he's doing it on his own volition, but I don't think so. I reckon that's an instruction as the ball is out of side, and it'll be a free kick to the Dragons.
Yeah, Caleb Connick's been told to go with him, I'd say, because he was that intercept effort then, and he did well to butter up and kick the ball out of the defence for Sandhurst.
James Coghlan. Dart ball forward by 35 metres, goes to Wilkinson. Wilkinson comes in fact back now to go forward through Curnow. Curnow launches a long ball. He goes to 50. It's a good mark by Maxted. 55 from home. He'll go quickly now. His target will be Fergus Green. He got caught one behind. Front and centre. Noah Walsh. They'll share it around to the top of the square. Polpratt gets collared. Must be gone, and it is. Under pressure, good bit of footy by the Dogs, and that was almost a goal gone begging then.
It was a great crumb, wasn't it, from Noah Walsh? Unfortunately, we didn't get the result that they desired.
The clearing kick out finds its way into the hands of Dylan Johnson, who's on centre wing. Johnson's kick goes straight back in board to Wilkinson, though, so 18-18. This is Matty Wilkinson. Number 18 for the Sandhurst Dragons. He'll wheel across and send it across to the poolside wing, where he finds its way into the hands of Smith. Cooper Smith then goes inside forward 50. Just didn't quite find its way inside to its teammate. Tracking after it and knocking it towards the boundary line will be Frankie Shapano, and we'll have a boundary throw in. 60 out from goal to the Barnard Street end, which is the end of the ground that the Sandhurst Dragons are attacking to in this first quarter. They trail by 20 points. We've played 24 minutes. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Umpire will throw it in. Up they'll go in the ruck. It'll be Blake against Tanner Nelly on this occasion. Nelly, in fact, wins the tap and put it down the throat of Noah Walsh of the Dragons, but he got tackled. And we'll have another stoppage, and umpire Carter will say, give it to me and I'll ball it up. And he does, in fact, that. Blake wins the tap again. Blakey working nicely off half-back. Handballs it to a teammate who'll kick it long. It's a spiral, it's a tube. It'll bounce. Which way it'll go? Nobody knew which way to go. And it tweets towards a pack right on centre half forward. and it will be a stoppage and a ball up. Dogs in attack. They lead by 20 to the city end. 24.5 minutes gone. Opening term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
So 60 out from goal. Blake's got the clear ruck advantage. Knocked it down to Lakey. Lakey sends a worm burner inside to McKenna. McKenna couldn't quite trap it. Sandhurst will handball backwards to McLean. McLean's taken. Free kick's been pulled. Might be for a hold, I'm guessing, Don Moran?
No, it looks like a throw, I think, Cam. Incorrect disposal from Pat McKenna.
So it will go the way of Noah Walsh for the Sandhurst Dragons. 25 out from goal. Walsh will handball off to the runner of Free. Free will then roost a high ball down the poolside wing to a big pack. Playing in front, taking a terrific grab, will be Lockie Hood in game number 50. He wants to go quickly. Decides to handball off to Smith. Smith gets the run. He'll send it up towards forward 50. Big fly from Connick down there, who's taken the mark. He's doing it at both ends. Connick quickly goes, wheels inside and finds Maxted. Maxted's 40 metres out directly in front, and I'll put it in the book because he's my man, John. He'll go back and kick it.
Not buying in on that one?
What do you say, Don?
Oh, he's a nice kick, but you remember last year I think gave him a bit of a hard time of his preparation and his run-up, but I'll study it this time. I'm pretty hard on him, but we'll see how he goes.
The breeze might play a little bit of a factor. It was just swirling a little bit a couple of minutes ago, so let's see what he does with it.
Doesn't miss too many set shots, does Kobe Maxted. He's 40 metres out, pretty much directly in front on the right. He goes goalwards. And well, did you ever doubt him? Because the goal umpire did not move. Maxted gets his first of the afternoon. He gets the Dragons second. They move to 2-1-13. The Gisborne Bulldogs 4-3-27. Score sponsor, Daily Bricklaying and Construction. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
There's a better lead up like that. The free kick was given down in Bulldogs defence, and there was a run off. They energised it. There was a handball receive, and then I think it ended up to Free. Free hit a target on the wing, and then another release, and then straight in the hands of Kobe Maxted for a set shot.
Back in the middle now. Dragons seem to have settled as Sexton wins the tap. Danahy went into the middle. Benaki swooped on the ball for the Dogs. It's a hot contest in there. Tardrew emerges, handball forward to Coughlin. Coughlin on the left. He'll send it inside forward 50 again. They've got another chance here, the Dragons, as it goes inside. Coughlin backed up his own footy. Big punching footy to the top of the square. Green runs onto the footy off. Got a whistle for a too high by umpire Carter. He's paid it to the Dragons and will have a shot on goal.
Fergus Green.
So it was Fergus Green that ran onto the footy. And
Jed Dennehy caught him high.
And I bet you $1 that Fergus Green goes around the corner here, Don.
Do you think?
Well, we've seen him do it a few times AFL style, but I think I might going to lose it now because he's coming back on his run-up, but it wouldn't have surprised me.
You mightn't have any dollars left by the end of the day if you start throwing wild things out like that. He's not going around the body from 15 out directly in front.
Well, they all do now, though,
Well, he's got a 35-metre run-up, so I don't think he's going around the corner.
No. Let's see what he does with the footy. He did it a couple of times the last time I saw him. He's a little bit closer than that on those occasions. Gets underneath the footy and he straightens it up. So that Sandhurst now, they've well and truly settled. That's his second in this opening term. Sandhurst go to 3-1-19. They trail the Dogs 4-3-27. We're in red time in this opening term. Score sponsor, Rural and Outdoors Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Yes, that was a polished performance, John. Nice preparation. But once again, Sandhurst have started to settle and get the ball into their hands, and it's pretty good service into their forwards. Hitting the ball on the ground too, and a great reward for Fergus Green and Sandhurst Football Club.
After all their hard work early, it's only an 8-point margin, so it's well and truly game on at the QEO. Sandhurst will win the clearance out to the poolside wing for Noah Walsh, who's taken by Benaki. Off hands, Cadillo goes through for the Dogs, but he's taken in a tackle. As soon as he picked it up and they're hot on it, they'll ball it up. Centre wing position, pool side of the QEO. Wouldn't be a bad day if you're over there in the pool. The sun is shining here, knocked forward. Dogs trying to handball their way through trouble through Benaki. Benaki got it to a teammate who banged it forward. That was Normington up towards centre half forward. They'll track after it through Scanlon. And he'll see it over the boundary line with Curnow in hot pursuit of him. We'll have a boundary throw in 55 metres out from goal. Heading towards the Bendigo City end are the Gisborne Bulldogs.
Dogs lead by 8 points. They've had the lead for the entire opening term. Umpire will throw it back in. Dogs in attack. 60 from home. Swimming pool side near the scoreboard. Umpire throws it in. Sexton against Danahy. Walsh getting involved as well. Ground level, Lord couldn't pick it up. Tardrew did for the Dragons. Stagg in his 250th picked it up and gave it to Walsh by hand, who by hand gave it to Sexton, who quickly kicked the 30-metre ball forward to the centre wing as the siren sounds for quarter time here at the QEO. Sandhurst Dragons trail 3-1-19 to the Dogs 4-3-27.
Well, it was a hot start from the Gisborne Bulldogs, but they only lead this game by 8 points. The Dogs 4-3-27. Sandhurst 3-1-19. Plenty more to come. And around the grounds in reserves football, Loddon Valley Footy League, Morong 10-9-69 defeated Bears Lagoon, Serpentine 3-2-20. And in the Heathcote District Footy League Grand Final at quarter time, thanks to Wayne Smith, it is White Hills 4-3-27. Liam Bartels has kicked 3 goals in that opening quarter to Leachville Gumbauer 2-2-14. It's an 8-point lead here at the QEO to the Gisborne Bulldogs. The second quarter to come. Cam Power, John Hunter, and Don Moran. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
The finals are now upon us. Let's have a look at the top 5 from the first week. Number 1, we kick it off. Thomas Tomer here from Golden Square. Beautiful work, just using his pace. Got over the back, unloaded from 50, got tackled at the same time as well, and bounces it through. Number 2, Jordan Rosengren here from Golden Square. Just a lovely mark, just showing his strength. Got to the front of the pack and took a big grab. Number 3 here, Shane Clough from Gisborne. This is a class finish. Outside of the boot from the boundary. Oh, yeah. It's Jack O'Shaughnessy here from Eaglehawk. Pack your bags, get ready to take flight. This is an absolute hanger. Look at him go on the second grab as well. Secured it. Number 5 is Dylan Johnson here from Gisborne. He had 5 goals this afternoon. This is probably his best one. Plenty of pace to burn. Right on 50. Unloads. Oh, yeah.
Crowd in attendance for Sandhurst and Gisborne. Sandhurst 3-1-19, Gisborne 4-3-27 is the second semi-final here at the QEO. Looking at MCDFNL footy, it is Natty Biella, but they're off to a good start. 4-2-26 to Harcourt, 1-2-8. And also going around the grounds in the North Central Footy League, Sea Lake have got a good start against Wedderburn. They lead 3-2-20 to Wedderburn, one behind. And in the Loddon Valley Footy League, it is Morong. They have got a massive start. They lead 8-4-52 to Bridgewater, 1-1-7 at quarter time. And the Heathcote District Footy League Grand Final, White Hills 4-3-27, leading Leachville Gumbau at 2-2-14. But back here at the Q, the goal kickers in this game, it is Brad Benacki, Shane Clough, Dylan Johnson and Matty Merritt for the Dogs, while for Sandhurst, 2 to Fergus Green and a single to Kobe Maxted. Having a look at better players this afternoon for the Gisborne Bulldogs is Don Moran.
It's a fairly close offering so far, Cam. Braden Blake has had his game continued to a high level, getting his hand on the ball first, giving Finn Lakey and Brad Benacki first use. So it's been good in there. But early on, James Gray and Matthew Merritt were in everything, and that's when those goals got piled on. So they'll probably be my leading players at the moment. That would be Blake, Lakey, Benacki, and Gray and Merritt.
In the A Reserve netball, it is Gisborne. They lead Sandhurst 31-27, and the better players for Sandhurst: Kobe Maxted, Fergus Green, Zach Polpratt, and Jake McLean getting a fair bit of the pill.
So it was a good start from the Dogs, but Sandhurst fought back in that first quarter. It's only 8 points the margin, so terrific game going on here at the QEO, and it's going to be a very entertaining battle to see how this one plays out for the remainder of the day. Umpires Scotty Bennett, Marcus Osborne and Dave Carter to get the second quarter underway. Here's John Hunter.
Up they go in the ruck. It'll be Blake who wins it, taps it forward, but Coughlin, he's been good as well. That's James Coughlin, gives it to right. In fact, it might have been Connick. They look alike. They've got 15 and 16 on, but it will be the Dragons. Fergus Green couldn't quite get it, but it's right down forward who offers support, so it obviously came in from Connick, and that is a major on the board. Early days in this second term. Scoreboard sponsor, I got away with that pretty good, Cam. Scoreboard sponsor Parsons Towing in Castlemaine. It is Gisborne 4-3-27. They lead Sandhurst 4-1-25. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
You've got all that out. That goal was within 26 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah, 26 seconds. That's not a bad reply, is it? Straight up.
As soon as you called Lockie Wright and Caleb Connick, you knew the other one was going to bob up at the other end, didn't you? So back in the middle we go. It's folklore as the Dogs will try and clear it out of the middle. Macklin Lord's got it. Handball back in board finds Normington. Normington up towards centre half forward. It's taken by the Dogs. Handball to Benacki. Benacki will be claimed high by Curnow. So free kick Benacki. He quickly plays on the right. Wheels in. Sends it into the leading Pat McKenna. He juggles it, but he marks it 25 out directly in front. Benacki was intent to move that ball quickly. And why wouldn't you when you've got a player like Pat McKenna who is bursting out of the goal square on a hard lead?
There's a little bit going on here. Zach Pelpratt letting Jed Danahy know. Liam Spear going into support. I love a bit of feel. Cam in finals, that's what it's about.
So that's what it's on in the middle, as it will be Pat McKenna, who's got one behind today for his first goal of the afternoon. It goes, goal umpire moves hard left, and it slams into the goalpost. So 2 behinds to Pat McKenna. 4-4-28 Gisborne, 4-1-25 Sandhurst.
Free will kick it in for the Dragons. Geez, it goes to the centre. The wind got underneath it. Picked up by Blake, however, for the Dogs. He'll spread it wide by hand, but it will be a turnover. It was a fumble at inopportune time. Shapano runs over the footy for the Dogs. He loses it. Joel Wharton picks it up. It will be a free kick, and it will go to Frankie Shapano, and he's been pretty serviceable as well this afternoon so far.
So Shapano on centre wing, pull side. Sends it up towards the top of 50. Big pack of players fly. It spills off hands. Going through Tarju, goes backwards to Curnow. Curnow on the right will just roost it down the wing, but it will go over the boundary line out of bounds for a boundary throw in true centre wing position.
3-point margin. It's the Dogs here that lead early in this second term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Umpire will throw it in. Swimming pool side. It'll be Blake up against Sexton. Sexton's been pretty good, but Blake around the ground, he's just mobility for a 200 centimetre ruckman is superb. But picked out by a Sexton on that occasion. He gave it over the top by hand. Getting involved was Tardru, but it was a turnover. Now it's Macklin Lord. He'll go inside forward 50 for the Dogs. And Scanlon had time and space, and he takes a mark 49 from home.
That breeze might just hold him up, John. Might test his distance. He's going to have a go at it, though.
So to the Barnard Street end. Scanlon, who come into the side this afternoon. He runs wide, he tries to get a bit of distance and doesn't in the end. He puts it into the pocket. Curnow with a fist for the Dragons defensively.
Jeez,
did well.
That's so awkward.
And he put it over the boundary line. 30 out from goal. It is the Dogs attacking, and we'll have a ball in 3-point margin, Dogs lead.
It's one of those things, Cam. You know, do you do a three-quarter kick, or do you go at it and then cough it up and give it back to them to Sandhurst to kick in? So it looked awkward. It's probably not a bad option.
It looked like he wheeled around and then he kind of half-guessed himself as he went to kick the ball. As it's sharked out of the contest and going goalwards, it's Braden Blake.
So that's my point.
So Braden Blake has done an absolute fantastic job to snap that one from 5 metres in from the boundary, and a big goal for Gisborne. And they have now got 5 on the board, the Dogs. And they lead this game 5-4-34, Sandhurst 4-1-25. 4 minutes gone in the second quarter. It's a goal apiece in this quarter. Score sponsor, Jason Westcott, builder. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
So you understand, like, I know it looked awkward, but if he had gone to come off hands, give it back to, and we saw what their last kick in from Sandhurst, they just belted it down the middle. Well, they've got a boundary throw in, dominant ruckman, good mids, and there's the ruckman scoring.
Back in the middle, Blake wins it out of the middle. He grabbed it and he put it inside forward 50. Curnow for the Dragons overran the footy, but he had support on the outer side through Ruff. It's his first possession of the afternoon. He's been relatively quiet. Curnow now on the end of a handball, back to Ruff, to Tardru. Ringer Rosies with 3 or 4 handballs. Now the kick comes to Sexton on half back. Little give by hand to Walsh. Umpire Carter gets in the way and then moves. Cooper Smith runs on the footy to the wing. Handball inboard. He goes to Paul Pratt. Awkward, ugly kick. I don't think he meant it. Maxted dropped a mark he should have taken. Now Coughlin goes in after it. 40 from home. Oh, they're doing everything to muck it up here. Dragons turnover. Braden Blake, he'll pick up this footy and they'll be out.
Yes, he does. Gray couldn't quite control it for Gisborne, but they managed to fire it out wide. It comes into the hands of Lord. Lord found space, sent it up towards centre half forward. Trying to trap it in front of him was Burke, but he didn't get the bounce he was after. Spills out the back. Connick's back there for the Dragons. So too Curnow. Curnow dives in, went without the footy. Burke got it. He lost it. Picked up and sent into the pocket from the Dogs. And a good strong mark taken hard up against the boundary. Something out of nothing for the Dogs. They just worked that ball forward and the mark has been taken. It's a tough chance though. It's Jack Scanlon. It'll take a good effort from here. He's hard up against the boundary, probably 20 metres out from goal. Will he go the banana kick from here, Don?
Interestingly, I would say yes, because he's fairly tight, isn't he, in the pull side pocket. What is he, about 35 out?
Tough angle for Scanlon.
Not much daylight there, Cam.
Looks like he's going to go the standard drop punt. It'd take a big effort from there. He tries to utilise the breeze. It goes right across the face. It comes off the pack out of bounds for a boundary throw in on the far side. He's thrown in hard up against that left-hand goalpost. Gisborne lead this game by 9 points here at the QEO. 6.5 minutes gone in the second quarter.
It'll be interesting to see what happens here, Cam, because not a bad miss. We've got another boundary throw in, pressure on the Sandhurst defence.
And the umpire basically points to the top of the goal square when he throws it in, so it's really in the hot spot. Scanlon gets a punch there for the Dragons. So Coughlin jumps on the footy and sees it out and will
It was a short throw in, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Probably didn't help the setup for both sides, to be honest.
So it will be another ball in the pocket, 30 around from goal. Dogs attack Barnard Street end. There used to be a social rooms that existed there for South Bendigo. When did they get rid of that, Cam?
Last year.
Last year was. And the umpire throws it in now. James Coughlin's been good for the Dragons. He didn't win on that occasion. Scanlon did, and he gave it by hand to Normington. Normington's kick is smothered. Running onto the footy was Ainsworth of the Dogs. The ball's moved to half forward. Dogs still in attack over, but it's going to be a launch now. Tardru receive, runs through the middle of the QEO. He's got a wide player on. He goes by hand a little bit of, well, he was unsure. It was Connick. Gave up a free kick to Benaki, and the Benaki of the Dogs spreads it wide.
It was Shapano that laid the tackle, then quickly handballed off to Benaki, who runs it up towards centre half forward. Turnover. Tardrew got it back for Sandhurst. He'll then wheel it up towards centre half forward, but it's a kick that will land straight in the hands of Jack Reaper, who is in all on his own. Reaper clears the kick to the poolside wing, finds a teammate. They'll work their way forward. Kick up the line off hands. Luxmore couldn't take it. Sandhurst will take advantage at ground level. Tardrew got the old 1-2. Then he sent it up towards centre half forward. He just missed his kick a little bit. Didn't bounce favourably for Green. Trying to keep it in play will be Vescovi, who disguises it cleverly. He looked like he was trying to keep the ball in play and run back onto it. But I think deep down he was trying to get the ball over the boundary line. Underneath the scoreboard, it does read Gisborne 5-4-34. Sandhurst 4-1-25. 8 minutes and 24 seconds have played in the second quarter of the second semi-final here at the QEO.
This quarter is sponsored by Central Kitchens in Bendigo, where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Umpire will throw it in. Perfect conditions, QEO. Blake grabs it out of the ruck. Gives a little bit of a handball that's ineffective. Very well made, of course, a turnover. It did. Max did a nice little tap to Tardrew, to Ureta. Ureta's on 49 metres for the Dragons. He'll go long. He looked for Joel Wharton. Will it stay in? It won't. It slews over the boundary line, 10 metres around from the goal that the Dragons are attacking. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
They're not getting a lot of silver service going inside 50 Sandhurst at the moment by their midfielders. So let's see if they can tighten that up and give them a better option.
A throw in, off hands, straight into the hands of Gisborne.
So John, you want your forwards leading up to your good kickers, and at the moment it just seems to be in the wrong hands going inside 50.
Taken without the ball, Max dead. Umpire said nothing, doing a few appeals as a kick skews off the side of the boot for Gisborne, and it goes out of bounds on the full. It was an ordinary kick out of defence. It might have come from Shapano. So free kick here, the opposite number 16, Caleb Connick, who sends an absolute tracer bullet inside forward 50.
And there's my point,
but
John.
Brad Benacki read it best. Intercept mark quickly transitions the kick across to Liam Spear.
Spear, short pass, poor kick. He's kicked it straight to the opposition, and Ureta getting a couple of possessions now. Too far from home, a good 2 kicks. As he'll just slow down the footy, it enables players to flood into that forward 50 zone and 50. I don't think the man on the mark stood his ground on. I'm not sure.
Going to reverse that? Yeah, Isaac Ruff's just blown that for Sandhurst.
So talk us through what happened then.
Well, the 50 was paid, and for intruding on the mark, standing off the mark, and then Isaac Ruff came in and gave it to the player who was gave that 50 away, which I can't see his jumper
Dylan
there, Cam.
Johnson, I can tell his face there, Don.
Yeah, he's flattened him. Isaac Ruff's flattened him. And
He's
now
in my stable. But Isaac Ruff's been a little bit quiet today as well, and he's a senior player, but Dragons will win it again now, turnover. Wilkinson on the end of a handball, trying to make path. It'll be Scanlon. He receives a handball as well for the Dogs. He's tackled. Good, strong tackling, Noah Walsh. And defensive side of centre circle will be a free kick to the Dragons.
Yeah, he just tried to take on one too many tackles there. Did Scanlon, so Noah Walsh, who's very strong, will receive the free kick for Sandhurst. Noah Walsh in the middle of the QEO. He'll chip it short. Mark will be taking Cooper Smith. So Cooper Smith has it. Will look to go forward, but there's really not much doing further of the footy. So he's going to have to send it out to a contest. The kick goes out wide. Good mark taken there. And then they'll wheel it inside 50. Lockie Hood. Hood goes deep towards Green. Off hands. Couldn't quite take it. Getting back first for the Dogs there will be Vescovi. Sandhurst handball their way. Fergus Green will send the kick back in board. No mark taken. Wilkinson was the target. A couple of players flew in front of him, which forced the ground to ball level, and then Wilkinson had to make the tackling duties. They'll have a ball up in the middle of the 50 at the Bendigo City end of the ground, which is the end the Gisborne Bulldogs are going to in this, the Sandhurst Dragons are going to in this second quarter.
As the ball is won there by Tardrew for the Dragons. He's got Jake McLean centering ball if he goes there. He probably got up and under. Fergus Green had a piece of it as well. Top of the goal square. Dogs under pressure. Good strong work at ground level by James Gray, who ties it up and will have a ball up at the top of the square.
Good defence by Gisborne, bringing that to the ground. I thought Fergus got his hands to that and almost might have held that, John.
Dragons in attack. Up they go in the ruck. 20 metres out from goal. See players around the football. Hood emerges. Handballs it inboard. Polpratt runs onto the footy. He's tackled well. And Spear, in fact, it might have been Lakey for the Dogs. He defensively did well. And now with 35 out, directly in front. Dogs lead. They're in attack, 25 playing 34.
Well, up again. Lakey's little dribbling kick out of there. McLean handballs it backwards for Smith. Couldn't quite take it. Overran it a little bit. James Gray went through for the Dogs, and he was taken in the tackle. And we'll have a ball up, almost on the paint of 50.
Good forward pressure by Gisborne, and equally good pressure by Gisborne, locking it in.
Good battle going on here. Neither ruckman touched the footy as it went to ground level. They both went to ground. It spills out to Walsh. Walsh got through some trouble. Walsh on the left goes goalwards. Noah Walsh slams it into the post. That would have been some sort of goal. Gisborne will quickly bring this one back into play. 4-2-26, Sandhurst 5-4-34. Gisborne, 13 minutes gone, second quarter. Score sponsor, Bendigo City Framers, where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Spear now, plays on for the Dogs from fullback. Trots to underneath the scoreboard. Then he puts it beyond 50, hard up against point post. The boundary line. Dylan Johnson got his hands on the football. He's racking them up this afternoon again. He goes forward with a kick 40 metres down the line, down the wing. Hits up Bell Bartel, still defensive side of centre wing. In fact, he's right. It's right half back, swimming pool side, a metre out from the boundary line. He goes down the line now, 35 metres. Hits Lakey, who marks it in front of his eyes. So working it down the outer side wing with Lakey. It's slow, it's progressive. Now he kicks it long. He goes down the line. He'll put it to half forward. Kicks it to a pack of players, and in the middle there, Andrew Ireland it is. Liam Ireland takes a mark for the Dragons, and it's a turnover now.
So Ireland has it. Looks in ball before, just sending it down the wing. Hits a pack of players and comes off hands. Eventually, Eureka emerged with it. Eureka handballs forward to Hood. Hood calls for someone to come at him. He goes longer for Green. The kick just did not favour Fergus Green at all. And it was almost against what he was signalling for Green to do in that kick. Not sure what was going on there. But it'll go out of bounds for a boundary throw in. Left-hand forward pocket underneath the scoreboard here, Don Moran.
Yeah, Fergus will be fairly disappointed with that because Lockie Hood was running into an open 50 to easily hit him up on the lead. But wayward kick, and we've got a boundary throw in.
Looked like there was a bit of confusion whether he was going to go closer to goal or run back the other way.
It's got to be in the back.
Free kick in the back's going to go the way of Brad Benaki. So Benaki will receive the ball across defensive 50, clearing the short pass up towards Macklin Lord. Well, Harry Luxmore, I should say. Luxmore gets the handball back to Benaki. Benaki goes inboard. Oh, handball favoured Ireland. Ireland to Eureka. It's hot footy in the middle there. Carraher tries to emerge with it. He's pounced upon straight away. Eventually, the Dogs will just get it out of there and clear it up towards centre half forward. Free gets back to lender hand. Tananelli, he's ran into all sorts of trouble. He dived on top of the ball as well. And a couple of Gisborne players dived on top of him, holding the ball. Free kick Dogs. They'll send it inside forward 50 through Dennehy.
Dennehy now, that's Zach. He goes inside forward 50. It was a poor kick. Cooper Smith intercepted, then fell to his knees. Rough off a support, handballs to Hood. Hood now a defensive arc of 50 for the Dragons, puts it in the path of Joel Wharton, who took a strong contested mark on his chest to slow things down. He was under pressure from Shapano. Short pass inboard to Stagg. 250 games today for the Dragons. What an effort it's been. Defensive side of centre wing. He'll bring it down broadcast side. Just holding on the footy. He's got not a lot of options. Now he goes long. Tardrew's in the area. Goes to the back of the pack. Picking up the footy would be Burke. Gives a handball back to Reaper. Reaper dangerously into the corridor. They just were coughing up here through Tardrew. Handball to James Coughlin. Goes further back to Curnow. Curnow a little dob kick to Eureka. And he takes a mark. 40 out. In fact, 45 out, 45-degree angle, and it'll be a decent kick from there, Don, to put it on the board for the Dragons.
Yeah, we get a chance to see his first set shot today. Comes in with big raps, so let's see how he goes finishing off here for Gisborne. 45 out, scoreboard side, John.
He might have the assistance of a little zephyr up his backside, I would imagine.
If he misses it, he probably will.
Let's see what happens. He just steps wide, which is always an indication they don't think they've got the distance, hence he pulls it left. So, or right, depends which way you're looking at it. 4-3-27 Sandhurst, 5-4-34 Dogs, 17 minutes gone, second term.
Gisborne's press seems to be working well at the moment, doesn't it? It keeps strangling Sandhurst's press. They just can't seem to get inside 50 late into this quarter.
Tardrew comes to the bench for Sandhurst as Spear brings the ball back into play. Sends it down the pool side wing, comes off hands.
It's got to be holding the ball.
And it will be a free kick for holding the ball. Seb Bell Bartels will be the recipient for Sandhurst. For Gisborne, it should be 50-metre penalties. Harrison Free has just not got up to allow him to grab the ball. Wow, not doing.
Good tactic if you can get away with it.
Yeah. Not sure you can do that though, Don Moran. Just lay on it to hold it up a little bit. Sebi Bell-Bartels was almost reefing the ball there. Might have been playing for it a little bit as well. Down the line he goes. Big flight. Dennehy couldn't quite take it. Spills to ground. And they all dive on top of it. We'll have a ball up. True centre wing position. Pool side of the QEO. 18 minutes gone in the second quarter. The Gisborne Bulldogs leading this game by 7 points.
Pye will throw it up. Scanlon doing the ruck work for the Dogs. He went up unopposed. Put it down the to Bell-Bartels. He was pushed as he kicked it. And it goes out of bounds on the full. So it will be a free kick to Harrison Free of the Dragons. This quarter is brought to you by our sponsors, Central Kitchens in Bendigo. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Second term here. We're in the back half of it in this second semi-final. Long kick down the line. Reaper, juggling footy, tried to claim a mark. Umpire didn't agree. Diving in over the top of it will be Connick. Also involved there would be Wright. Can't get those two wrong when I'm right, Cam, when he's right. 15 and 16. Am I confusing you? Because I'm confusing myself. You better take it.
Well, they do say leave the funny stuff to the funny people, and that indicates why, because that just wasn't very funny at all, John. I get where you were going with it, but ball up, cross 60 out. Pelpat will be first back to it for Sandhurst. Normington will then assist him over the bend line, but Pelpat dropped the footy. It was still in play. Picked up by Cardillo. He bangs it forward for Gisborne, but no one home except for Ireland, who was in an island of space. He'll then handball it off and they'll wheel it up towards centre half forward. Comes off hands. Maxted in a one-on-one. Knocked it forward for Sandhurst. Shields hits the ground. Tackling pressure inside forward 50 was good, and it forces a ball up. 45 metres out from goal. Sandhurst in a track. They trail it by 7 points here at the QEO. We've just ticked into the 20th minute of the second quarter.
I don't think they've led for 1 second of this game, the Dragons. Correct me if I'm wrong, they've been under pressure, as with that kick as Coglan goes deeper inside forward 50. It will be a stoppage. You just sense they need to get one on the board into half-time just to give them a bit of momentum, Don.
Well, their press has been strong, but their delivery into their forwards has been really ordinary.
Maxted won the ruck. He grabbed it out there and his kick was smothered by Scanlon as he kicked it, which caused a stoppage right at the top of the square. Sandhurst looking to grab one just before half-time. Maxted tries to grab it out of the air, couldn't. Hurried kick out of the pack, just relieves the pressure for the moment for the Dogs. Rough, clever little tap over the top, emerges with a handball. It's too severe for Ureta. Dogs now under pressure, hard up against the line, over the top. Getting involved there was Cardillo. Ground level, good work playing down there. Over the boundary line was McKenna. Stepped over the boundary and will wind it right back. And we'll come to, where's it going to occur? Just on 50, I reckon, Cam?
Yeah, where Macklin Lord ran over the boundary line with the ball, I reckon.
With the footy, and we'll have a ball in.
Are they confused? Because it was out of bounds, not out on the full.
So, yeah, they're setting up. I think we're just waiting on the footy because Macklin Lord might have kicked the ball a fair way away before he was indicated that it was out of bounds.
He got lucky, John, because it would have been on the full off Macklin Lord.
Picking on him again, are you, Don?
No, not at all.
His mum's watching this, you know.
So is his dad.
They'll throw it in. Off hands. Walsh tried to paddle it forward to Hood. Didn't quite get the bounce he was after. Spills to ground. And Macklin Lord, the man of the moment, dives on top of it. As the green Sandhurst sign goes up in front of us here. One side green, one side red. The green side is what is showing to the players. Make of that what you will.
Thank God you clarified that.
They'll send it into the pocket looking for Maxted. It carries over the back and through for a minor score from Lockie Hood.
Thank God you clarified that.
It is 4-4-28 Sandhurst. It's an even goal, the difference in favour of Gisborne. Score sponsor, Ruling Outdoors, Castlemaine.
For the listeners, I'm looking at a red sign, Cam.
So the ball, Normington brings it in. He goes down the line, down the middle. Carraher at the back of the pack goes up the chimney with a kick for the Drags and puts it back inside forward 50. Claiming a mark would be Noah Walsh. Don't know how he got it, but he emerged and put the footy in the air and the umpire blew the whistle and said, yes, sir, you took that mark.
He got that, and Matt Wilkinson's hands may have put that back in his hands.
Doesn't matter.
My tip, Matt Wilkinson's hands first.
To even up the score here at the QEO.
I don't have the whistle.
For the first time since the start of the game, we'll have it all tied up if he can put it through to the city end. A little bit of a hop, a step. Now he crosses 50, kicks underneath the footy. It won't make the distance. It will be offline and goes. In fact, I thought it was alive, but it wasn't. It was a minor score. Could be a handy point, Cam. 29 playing 34. Dragons trail.
That was a nervous moment, man.
They came back into play. Joel Watton was kicking as easy as goal as he ever liked.
Nervous moment.
I don't reckon Rob Waters would have been thinking too kindly of that one.
Gold line defence, just tap it over.
So it'll be bring back into play. Normington runs his distance and then clears the kick out of there for Gisborne. Mark taken by Blake. So Braden Blake has it out of defence. He'll then chip an even shorter pass to a teammate who marks. Further forward of the ball. They'll try and work it forward. This is Gray. Gray goes with a short pass again. Mark taken for Gisborne. They'll look to work this one forward. This is Merritt this time. Gray and Merritt looking alike as well. So Matty Merritt kicked the first goal of the game this afternoon. Sends it up towards centre half forward. Big fly and a big mark taken in front. That's Braden Blake. He is everywhere at the moment, Braden Blake. He started this play and now he's on the end of it at the top of 50. He looks to go inside forward 50. There's a whistle on play. Might be just putting him back on his line. Is he having thoughts of a set shot from here, Braden Blake? He's 55 out from goal. Hard up against the boundary line, so he chips it short and finds a teammate who's not much further forward. Right in front of the poolside change rooms ring are the Dogs. Island mans the mark about 49 metres out from goal. Is it Matt Merritt again out there, I think?
Yeah, it is.
So Matty Merritt was also involved a couple of times in this passage of play as well. He'll line them up right on 50 on the boundary. In fact, he's just going to fool everyone and chip it out into a hard lead. But getting back, taking intercept mark was Lockie Hood. All eyes for that one. He'll mark and he will clear it out of defence for Sandhurst.
He's defensively been good too this afternoon. Lockie Hood, he's good honest player. He'll go backwards, hits Connick. Connick deep in his defensive zone. Will look to bring it down the swimming pool side. Hits Maxted on the chest. Maxted got a little shove and might have just played for a little 50 but didn't get it. Then he kicks it 50 metres inside forward 50, but floating there for the Dogs will be Spear, and Spear will cross it laterally to Shapano.
So he does. Shapano will then clear it down the poolside wing. He's got some space if the kick's good to Lord. Lord couldn't quite take it, spills to ground level, and it will spill out. Umpire crossing his arms. I reckon he was blindsided because that ball was well and truly out when he crossed his arms. But
it's one of those moments as a player, the ball spills just as the umpire blows a whistle.
So Blake wins it down. Lakey gets some space to handball backwards to Merritt. Merritt will run into the Noah Walsh tackle and we'll have a ball up again. 5 metres forward, closer to goal. Bendigo City end, 25 minutes gone, second quarter. 29 plays 34. Umpire throws the ball up in the air. Blake tapped it forward. Lakey got it, tackled by Wilkinson. Handballed to Merritt. Merritt found a way through. Then he got it off to Gray. Gray got it off as well. They'll try and get this one forward. Bell Bartels found some space. He just hacks it inside forward 50. He needs a fly and it lands on the chest. Terrific kick from Bell Bartels that floated inside forward 50. And the mark's been taken, I think it's Scanlon down there, who's marked it just inside forward 50. He'll kick it 40 metres out, almost in line with that left-hand goalpost in the club rooms that used to be there that are no longer there, according to John Hunter. And it will be a set shot for goal.
They're there in spirit, Cam.
So it will be a chance for goal for Jack Scanlon, back into the side this week. Did not play last week, but he comes back in, one of two changes for the Dogs, as well as Jackson Cardillo, who's having a big say on this game as well. Scanlon comes in, 40 metres out on the right. Kick is skew whiffed off the side of the boot. Big fly from Gisborne, though. It wasn't the intended target, but Luxmore has taken an absolute beauty. I think everyone had given up on that one, and Luxmore got up high, and I think he's going to go the snap from here, Johnny. He's on the boundary line, 10 metres out. He's not directly in front. So Luxmore will line him up. Might even be looking to go a bit of a banana style here. Luxmore comes in on the banana, and he puts it through. Terrific grab, terrific finish, and Gisborne get a 2-goal lead on this game, 6-4-40. They play Sandhurst, who are 4-5-29, 20 and a bit minutes gone in the second quarter. Score sponsor, Parsons Towings in Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
I agree with you, Cam. I think there's a lot of spectators there, not knowing whether to go or not, and Luxmore read it the best off the boot and took a great mark and finished off beautifully with the banana. Back to the centre.
back in the middle. 11-point margin. 28 minutes ticking over here in the second term. Lakey emerges with the football. He's at the back end of the square for the Dogs. Then fans it wide. Connick, though, intercepted. Put it over the top to Smith. Smith against Benaki now. Also offering support was Luxmore, who kicked that last goal. But it's a free kick. Incorrect disposal. Didn't get rid of it whichever way you like. So it'll go to the Dogs through Benaki. Benaki sends it inside forward 50 now. Into the pocket. They'll set themselves. Scanlon was the target. Front and centre. It is Lord. Goes around the body on the left and put it through for a minor score. And that takes the Dogs to 41. They're trailing. They're leading 29, 41 to 29, 28 gone second term.
Straight down the middle they go. No mark taken. Spills off hands. Maxted was there. And they dive on top of it. Umpire crosses his arms for a ball up. In the Maryborough Castlemaine District Footy League, it is Natty Bielova 7-7-49, leading Harcourt 2-2-14.
Game over.
That's a big margin. As that's half time here at the QEO. The siren sounds. And it is a Gisborne Bulldogs 12-point lead. They've led this game from go to woe so far. The second half is going to be a cracker. 6-5-41 the Dogs, 4-5-29 Sandhurst. How did you see that first half, Don Moran? And who are you thinking needs to lift for Sandhurst if they're to come back and win this game in the second half?
Well, Sandhurst had a lot of the play and had a lot of field position with a strong press that just managed to choke Gisborne. But I've got down here, they've had 12 forward entries, but you heard me say earlier that the delivery into their forwards, Fergus Green and Kobe Maxted, must be disappointed that their service coming in is not great. So that just shows you the Gisborne pressure on the ball carrier and the deliverer to that forward keys just seems to be the winner for Gisborne. And I just think that they're a bit flat-footed when they go forward. They've only got Coat, so there's a stop where they're looking for someone to break open the game, and Sandhurst are just really, really stagnant when they move the ball, and their keys, as a ruckman dumping down the line, I think that we've seen Braden Blake do that so well, and Connor Sexton doesn't give them that dump kick down the line, so the ball carrier is sitting there waiting, trying to get an opening and trying to get someone to kick it to, and they're really flat-footed. To me, Sandhurst of old used to use nearly every blade of grass on this ground, John Hunter, and would open every other side up, but they just continue to go back where the ball comes from. I don't understand why they don't change lanes. We see Gisborne doing it, but we don't see Sandhurst doing it.
It's definitely against the flow of play, what we've seen Sandhurst do in the past. They've had that overlap play, which in the past, this season, when I say the past, it started off with Noah Walsh, and you have Connick getting involved, you get Stagg, and a number of players. Tardru has been relatively
Cooper Smith.
quiet. Cooper Smith's been
quiet. They're not there, are they?
They're not there at all, and they're not getting that overlap, and they're not getting those run. The last time we saw Sandhurst, we saw them last week or the week before, but at Castlemaine, they absolutely tore Castlemaine apart when they were ripping them through streets through the middle. The only thing I'll say about Noah Walsh, his game's a lot different today, and on a positive note, his tackling has been absolutely superb, but he hasn't found space and he hasn't had that overlap run. So
it's just been stop-start, hasn't it, for them? There's no flow with their footy, and the guys that have the ball in their hands across the centre of the ground are the wrong guys delivering into the forward line. And I'm pretty harsh on it. It's senior footy, and they're guys that are delivering the ball in forward is Jake McLean, Caleb Connick. There's times where I've seen Zach Pelprat. You want to see it in Lockie Hood's hands. You want to see it in Noah Walsh's hands to deliver it into Fergus Green and Kobe Maxted. But the wrong guys are linking up at the wrong time. It just seems to be maybe because they are stationary and stagnant through their gameplay. Seem to be a lot of stop-start and a lot of not sure on how they're going about their own game plan.
Let's not take anything away from the Dogs, though. They've been really superb through the middle. And I know I talk up Dylan Johnson's game, but his ability to run forward from the wing, he's probably got Connick on the back foot at times.
It's funny you mentioned that. I watched him a little bit later in that quarter. He's gone to Tardru. He's been running with Tardru, so that's why his influence compared to the last Saturday has gone out a little bit. But Lockie Tardru's got quiet because he's got Dylan Johnson's gone to him. And
I reckon Jack Scanlon as well. He's made a little bit of a difference up forward. You can sense a real presence with him that obviously didn't play last week, which I don't know whether it's taken a little bit away from McKenna, but I've noticed McKenna also floating up the ground a little bit more and potentially leaving Scanlon in that forward half.
Yeah, well, you mentioned those two. That kick that Jack Scanlon had where Harry Luxmore clunked that in the other pocket. I was just watching the work of Guy McKenna. It was a 2v1 Gisborne, and he managed to block.
Guy McKenna.
Guy McKenna. Paddy McKenna managed to block out Isaac Ruff, who's having a bit of a shocker, to be honest. I don't think he's done much at all. But he blocked him out and just got between, and Jack Scanlon took a chest mark. So like that's some serious forward craft and team play from such a quality player. Whereas you see the Sandhurst guys will try and jump over one another. So I just think that chemistry just seems to be lacking a little bit for Gizzy. But in saying that, they strangled them that quarter. They just couldn't hit the scoreboard.
Big second half to come in front of a big crowd here at the QEO. It's half-time in the Heathcote District Footy League Grand Final. And while White Hills have got a comfortable lead on this one, they lead 9 goals, 6-60 to Leachville Gunbow at 2-2-14. Liam Bartels has 4. Mitch Dole has 2. 5 goals, 3 to nothing that quarter in favour of White Hills, thanks to Wayne Smith, who is out there at Huntley watching along. In the North Central Footy League, it is Sea Lake 6-3-39 to Wedderburn 2-3-15. But here at the QEO, it's a 2-goal margin to the Gisborne Bulldogs. Plenty more to come from the second half. Do not go anywhere. The second half to come here from the QEO, where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
The finals are now upon us. Let's have a look at the top 5 from the first week. Number 1, we kick it off. Thomas Tomer here from Golden Square. Beautiful work, just using his pace. Got over the back, unloaded from 50, got tackled at the same time as well, and bounces it through. Number 2, Jordan Rosengren here from Golden Square. Just a lovely mark, just showing his strength. Got to the front of the pack and took a big grab. Number 3 here, Shane Clough from Gisborne. This is a class finish. Outside of the boot from the boundary. Oh, yeah. It's Jack O'Shaughnessy here from Eaglehawk. Pack your bags, get ready to take flight. This is an absolute hanger. Look at him go on the second grab as well. Secured it. Number 5 is Dylan Johnson here from Gisborne. He had 5 goals this afternoon. This is probably his best one. Plenty of pace to burn. Right on 50. Unloads. Oh, yeah.
Second half underway here at the QEO is about to get underway. It is the second semi-final. It is Sandhurst and Gisborne. Sandhurst 4-5-29, Gisborne 6-5-41. And the second half. It's a pretty good crowd in attendance here at the QEO, which is bathed in sunshine. So we're just waiting for the remaining spectators to get off the ground. John Hunter, how did you see that first half playing out? What does Sandhurst have to do to get back into it?
Well, I think that Sandhurst just go back to their original structures of what they've done all year. Try to carve them off across half-back, get some run and turnover, and that'll put them in front.
So the third quarter is about to get underway. 6-5-41, Sandhurst 4-5-29. Myself, Cam Power, John Hunter and Don Moran with Wallace Teasdale pushing the buttons in the background. The second half from the QEO, it is Sandhurst and Gisborne in the second semi-final. Here's John Hunter.
Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. It's 29 playing 41. The Dogs lead this one here at half-time. Umpire just about to get the second half underway. As there's something going on just in front of the goals. There's something going on, maybe some spectators, or what do you got there, Cam? Don?
A young lady that's trying to find a gate to get off the ground.
So she will do that. Let's use a bit of common sense and just ball the thing up. She'll be through the gate any second now.
Well, they kicked a 30-second goal the start of the second.
Well, I reckon she'll get out of the way then, won't she, Don?
Can't have her being involved. Still trying. There we go. Found the gate.
There we go.
There
Nick
we go.
Stagg into the middle. Walsh, Tardrew. Now it'll be Blake. Wins the ruck work, taps it, but it ends up there with Sexton. Sexton of the Dragons will send it forward. You're right, in the first couple of seconds of this second half. Lockie Hood picks it up. He's got Tardrew running shotgun. Gives it to him by hand and goes goalward and slams it through in 18 seconds, Don, not 30. 18 seconds. Scoreboard sponsor, Daily Bricklaying and Construction. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. That takes Sandhurst to 5-5-35. They are trailing Gisborne 6-5-41. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
It was a good ploy to slow it down, wasn't it? Young lady couldn't get out of the ground, but it was the wrong end. So that was Barnard Street end goal. 18 seconds. It was 26 in that second quarter.
Well, it just shows how quickly goals can be scored on a perfect day of footy at either end of the ground. Blake's in the middle for Gisborne, knocked it forward. Tardrew now gets the clearance. He's lifted early in the second half. Up towards centre half forward, bounced away from right. It came backwards in his direction. It goes to ground level, and we'll have a ball up 55 metres out from goal.
Both centre clearances have been by Sandhurst and managed to get them inside 50 pretty quickly at the start of this game.
Halftime score in the Maryborough Castlemaine Footy League. Natty Bialaba 9-7-61, leading Harcourt 4-2-26.
Umpire will ball it up across half forward again. Sandhurst in attack. Stagg grabs it out of the pack and puts it inside forward 50. It was a soccer ball by Reaper of the Dogs. Put it back into the centre square. Now contest form. Ground level, they'll run through Lakey. Lakey by hand gave it to Luxmore. They'll share it nicely as they'll go inside forward 50 now. Benaki getting involved. Looks for McKenna. Top of the square. Rough. Oh, he tapped it in the path of the opposition. Could have caused a goal through Burke and didn't. Lucky to kill it. Nearly a very fatal error at the goal line. Just averted it. So it's Gisborne 6-6-42. They lead Sandhurst 5-5-35. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
The class of Brad Branacki then, he kicked a banana to Pat McKenna because he was on the outside of his player. Nearly came off.
Kerno brings the ball back into play. Good bit of defence from Isaac Ruff to really get in front and stop that one, though, you were talking about there. As the kick goes out and Dennehy flies up and takes the mark. This is Jed Dennehy. He'll look to go inside forward 50. Overcooked the kick a little bit for its intended target, but it fell to McKenna. McKenna handballs off to Zach Dennehy. Zach Dennehy fires it towards the top of the square. Nally picked it up. Then he was taken in the tackle. Nally's in a bit of trouble here if he doesn't get this ball out. Umpire gives him a bit of benefit of the doubt, and we'll have a ball up 25 metres out from goal. Inside forward 50 at the Bendigo City end of the ground, which is where the Gisborne Bulldogs are attacking in this third quarter.
All tied up in the A-grade netball. It is 14 apiece. Sandhurst versus Gisborne. As we'll have another stoppage at the top of the square, I suspect, as the umpire circles and says, yep, I'm going to ball it up. Up they go in the ruck again. It's another stoppage. Sexton doing the ruck work. Lakey's there for the Dogs. Ground level. Tardrew, they're all in there, all the names. And we'll have another stoppage. I'll give it one more go, Cam, see if we can get us out of there or get a goal on the board.
We're just watching that restart, John. It's a little bit like a scrum. They're both lined up facing one another, both teams.
Up they go on the ruck. Scanlon winning the tap for the Dogs. Rough intercepted for Sandhurst. Put it over the top. Strong tackle. I thought it was a good tackle, but Merritt might get a free kick for too high. He does. Might have dropped his knees on, but it doesn't matter.
I think you might be right. Is it Merritt or Gray?
Oh, Gray. Geez, they look alike, those two lads too.
It's Gray.
It is Gray. So, James Gray with the footy, 45-degree angle. It's only 38 metres from goal. He'll cross the paint mark at 50. We'll get a good look at it over his right shoulder. Gray now. He only took 3 or 4 steps, but it were good steps and it was straight as an arrow off the boot. So a little bit of breathing room now for the Dogs just after that hot start by Sandhurst. Score sponsor, Don Smallgood, is Don is good. That takes Gisborne now to 7-6-48. They lead 5-5-35, the Dragons, 4.5 gone third term.
There's a fair bit of noise coming from the Sandhurst bench there trying to put him off, but didn't even look like missing James Gray. So great shot on goal. Yeah, free kick could have gone probably either way, John.
Back in the middle we go. Blake got in front of Sexton, won the ball to ground level, but Walsh was there. He received a high tackle advantage paid as they burst forward through Stagg. Stagg sends a high ball inside forward 50 off hands, couldn't quite take it. It spills out to Joel Wharton. Wharton around the body goes goalwards, didn't quite get the bounce he was after. Gisborne will shoot this one hard up against the boundary line. Pratt's back there to assist it over for a boundary throw in the left-hand forward pocket of the QEO. And we'll have a ball in, and I understand Gisborne one man down for the remainder of this game, Don Moran.
Yeah, the report that we received was that Shane Clough may have a suspected broken jaw and he's been taken off to hospital.
As we'll have another throw in as the ball was thrown in, and then just, as it quite often does, back towards the boundary line and another ball in. So inside forward 50 now for the Dragons to the Barnard Street end. Outside the ghost of the old South Bendigo social rooms. I can't give it up, Don. Why did they ever rip it down? As the ball now is 49 metres from goal. Sandhurst, well, not much going on with the footy. It's been scrambly for not only this quarter, but the quarter that preceded us, the second term. We'll have another stoppage.
It was probably being condemned, John.
Well, South Bendigo are no longer using it.
It was in good nick, though, as the ball, it was punched just still inside forward 50. Hurried kick now from Danahy of the Dogs. Kicks it to the wing. Scanlon did well. Spills. Double fisted by Ireland, put it in the path of Bell Bartels, which was a turnover. He's been quiet. A copped the ugly ball. Bounces for Ruff. Ruff of the Dragons, too strong through the hips. He's caused some two players to go down holding their heads. As free now with the footy for the Dragons. Off half back will launch it long.
There's a bit of friendly fire between the two Gisborne players, and there's one still down there as they work it into the middle. Noah Walsh will receive the ball. He'll then wheel it towards centre half and find Stagg. Stagg quickly off to Tarju. Tarju's already got one this quarter. He accelerates. Handball's off to Lockie Wright. Wright will go goalwards. And it's not his greatest kick. It's knocked through for a minus score. And it will be 5-6-36 Sandhurst playing 7-6-48. Gisborne 6.5 minutes gone in the third quarter. Score sponsor Parsons Towing's Castlemaine.
Geez, I didn't think that was a behind, but anyway. The goal umpire did. That's all that matters. That's how wide it was. It was right near the point, the post. Kick out now by Spear of the Dogs. Short pass hits Jed Danahy. Danahy looking to bring it down broadcast side. Instead, he decides to go in the middle of the ground. It's a dangerous, aggressive kick. It'll cause a turnover to Jake McLean now of the Dragons. I don't think that was the correct option. He goes down to Hood. And I was talking about the ball that come from the Dogs. McLean, short pass. He might have got one, a push downfield. He did. And it'll go downfield and it'll be a free kick to the Dragons. And we might be in goal kicking distance for Kobe Maxted.
Joel Wharton's going to
Joel Wharton's got
Kobe
it.
Maxted.
Yeah, it's been paid downfield.
I was barracking for Kobe Maxted. He's going to that direction, but probably Wharton's the better choice for the left foot, Don.
Yeah, from the pool side of the ground is perfect spot. He probably needs this, as does his side. He hasn't had much of it.
Well, left footers usually swing the other way. As he opens up the angle, he runs inboard. And I know that's unusual when I say that, but I'm a left-footer, Don, and I know that they don't go the way you think they're going to go. As it's going to be is it going to be a mark or one out?
It was marked by Kobe Maxted, but out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
On the full.
And now it'll be the Dogs. They seem to be under pressure in this first part of this third term.
So Gray goes backwards, and they're almost back where they started. It's with Spear. Spear clears it across the ground. Now they can try and emerge the Dogs. They'll work it up to pool side, centre wing. Kick going over the back of Tananelli and going in pursuit for a boundary throw in. True centre wing position on the pool side of the QEO. Good game of footy, 2-goal lead to Gisborne, but you sense there's plenty of more twists and turns in this one. So going into the ruck now, Scanlon. Sexton wins it down in front of him. Came out to Tarju, he's lifting in this third quarter, fires the handball forward. Picked up now, handball to Walsh. Walsh handballs over the top, got it back, did Noah Walsh. He'll then send the kick inside forward 50. Maxted was clean, handballed off to Hood. Hood couldn't quite take it, came back to Maxted. He ducked the tackle, threw the handball back in the Hood direction. Wharton comes to lend a hand. He's been tackled straight away. Walsh has got it. They're just trying to will this ball forward, the Dragons. Come out to Wharton. Wharton handballs out again. Picked up Maxted. Does he go goal or does he try and centre it to Green? And in the end, it's knocked through for a minor score from Gisborne. So another rush score. 5-7-37 playing 7-6-48. But you're just sensing the Dogs are under a bit of pressure early in this third quarter. Score sponsored Parsons Towing's Castlemaine.
Well, there's certainly plenty of heat in the kitchen for the Gizzy defenders, isn't there?
Normington brings it in for the Dogs. They'll bring it down now. Swimming pool side. It's a long ball. Lord was the target for the Dogs, and it goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. We'll have a ball in.
That was for you boys to buy in on that. Got nothing. Left me sitting in the kitchen with nothing, John.
It was just very insightful, so I thought it would just... Silence can be the best thing sometimes, Don. Just let it soak in. Yeah, probably not the best medium radio. As the ball now at Tardru, Dragons, Hood, Tardru receives back, runs through the middle of the QO, one bounce. He's got Cooper Smith running side by side, gives it to him by hand. Now he goes inside forward 50, shallow, looking for James Coughlin. He collects, he tries to go inboard. He does, he'll straighten, he'll go to the top of the square. They'll set themselves. Oh, good defensive play there by Lake. He won in fact it was spear and kicked it up to the wing.
Big contest in the middle of the ground, comes off hands Macklin Lord. Bell Bartels tried to parch through, couldn't get it, came out to Tardru, holding the man. Free kick's going to go the way of Gisborne by the looks. The Sandhurst crowd in attendance, which is predominantly Sandhurst here, probably didn't agree with that decision, but Bell Bartels will receive the ball across half back for the Dogs. Isaac Carraher mans the mark.
He's in a bit of pain too. Zach Dennehy's managed to get a piece of him.
Yeah, the trainer going straight to him as the kick up towards centre half forward. Benaki couldn't quite take it, spills out. Walsh, handball, Sexton, he got up very high, then he handballed it out to Connick. Connick dances his way through trouble, sends it up towards centre half forward. Big flyer mark taken. Coughlin, he wheels around onto the right. He's got a hard leading mark on Wilkinson if he can get it to him, and he does mark it, Wilkinson. He's 50 out from goal directly in front. He'll chip it short, and the mark will be taken by Zach Palprat, who will line him up 45, almost directly in front.
Bit worried about the distance and the accuracy. That's why he's handed it off to Free.
That he does. Free will fire at goalwards, and it never looked likely. In fact, I think he's kicked it out of bounds on the full. So it will be a free kick.
In the A-grade netball, Gisborne leads Sandhurst by 1 goal, 22-21. So we'll keep you up to date with those scores. Looks like a close one on the netball court.
We call it a Harrison free kick.
Has the ball, it's a long kick by the Dogs beyond 50 to the outer side. Dennehy set himself. Also getting involved there was Johnson, and we've got a whistle on play. It might be a stoppage, it is. It'll be a ball up. Cross right half forward now. In attack here, it's Sandhurst trying to look and search for another goal.
Free kick, Brad Benaki holding the man.
And Benaki getting involved with some good hard play, and he gets a free kick.
And he does. He's been dealt with after he kicked the ball as well, so that'll be a downfield free kick.
Zach Palprat.
And there's just a little bit of ill discipline from Sandhurst in this game. They've probably given away a couple of free kicks today, Don, which have been quite costly. So the Dogs get the downfield free kick. They send it inside forward 50, and going back and taking the mark is Pat McKenna. He's 30 metres out, almost directly in front from there, and this would be a big blow if he goes back and slots this one. And it's all on the back of some ill-disciplined Dragons.
Yeah, you'd be disappointed. Paddy hasn't kicked one today, so he's 2 points. Would you've noted 2 down? So set shot pressure for Pat.
So Pat McKenna, 30 out, not too much of an angle to deal with. He strikes it and he celebrates it straight away. He's first of the afternoon, and it's Gisborne's 8th. And they have got themselves out to a handy buffer in this third quarter. They are now 8 goals, 6, 48, the Gisborne Bulldogs. The Sandhurst Dragons, 8 goals, 6, 54, I should say, to Sandhurst 5, 7, 37. 14 minutes gone, third quarter. Score sponsor Jason Westcott Builder, where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Yeah, there isn't anything worse as a player when you've been involved with a free kick, a downfield, and then they convert. So pressure's back on Sandhurst and Zach Palprat, who's sitting up front. Maybe he can get one himself to rule that one out.
I think we're all waiting for the Dragons to come, and, well, they seem to be waiting as well, because it's just not happening at the moment. As Dennehy wins it for the Dogs, he caused a turnover. He gave it straight to Connick of the Dragons on half-back. Cooper Smith received. Then Smith for the Dragons will go to the outer side wing. Poor kick. He kicked it straight to Normington of the Dogs. So, uncharacteristic kick and error there. As the ball goes down the line, Curnow did well with a double fister and puts it over the boundary line. In attack, the Dogs, across half forward. They lead this one 8-6-54 to Sandhurst 5-7-37.
I like the work that Harry Luxmore's putting into Bryce Curnow and stopping his influence across half-back. He's getting in his way, impeding his run and stopping his jump at the ball.
Curnow hasn't been too busy this afternoon. Lakey got the ball forward off the contest to Cardillo. He was tracked over the boundary line. In fact, it was Dylan Johnson being tracked over the boundary line, I should say, by Tarju. Has lifted a little bit in this third quarter, but who else needs to lift for Sandhurst, Don Moran?
They're still back to that forward delivery. There's just the lack of hitting targets moving forward.
Throw in right on the paint of 50. Connick disposed of the footy. Stagg went through and handballed it to Hood. Hood was taken in the tackle straight away, and we will have a ball up, 55 out from goal.
Well, they're certainly getting plenty of ball inside 50, Cam, but they're just not hitting targets.
Yeah, it's just their delivery. And the way they're getting in there, it's just not with any confidence. It doesn't feel like it. As good, strong tackling will be pinged there, the Dogs. Trying to make a path there was Benaki, but James Coglin's probably been close to Sandhurst's best, I reckon, as he spreads it wide to the boundary line and he hits Connick. Connick now with the footy. He'll go back defensively to Carraher. Carraher in the back pocket will go across the face of defensive goal to Ireland. So they've spread it from one back pocket to the other to Curnow. Reverse horseshoe in and out. Corner, Curnow, 15-metre ball forward by foot to Smith. Smith in front of us, broadcast side, half back, inboard. That's effective. Short pass, hits Wilkinson of the Dragons.
So they're just chipping around at the moment. Wilkinson could have given it to Smith, decides to chip back to Curnow.
They're just like they're just uncertain how they're going to deliver the ball into the forward line.
There's no run.
There's no link here. Look, and it's just chipping around. What? I don't understand.
Not used to from Sandhurst as he chips it to Cooper Smith.
So it's the first time we've seen them shift play from one side of the ground to the other, and now they're trapped.
Yeah.
So Cooper Smith has...
They've got eight kicks, 8 marks, and they haven't even made any meterage into the ground at all.
No, short pass to Eureka.
No use opening the door and not walk through it, because that's what you do when you go in and out.
Correct.
Dayton Eureka will then chip a short pass, which is a little bit more attacking, finds its way to Stagg.
That's better.
It quickly handballs off to Eureka. Eureka gets the ball movement going, sends it inside forward 50, big fly. Mark not taken. It was Reaper that got up really high. Couldn't take it, but it brought the ball to ground level. Now the Dogs go to work. It's worked forward. McKenna, high ball towards enough forward, back to Curnow, and we'll start the process all over again as Curnow will chip it out wide to Isaac Carraher.
Carraher, he's been relatively quiet this afternoon as well. Half back. Now he kicks forward 35 metres, hits free. Free of the Dragons, turns and goes, and he'll go to right. Right on the outer side. Handball forward. Goes to Smith. Back to right. Right with an awkward looking ball inside forward 50. Hands and knees there. Couldn't quite get it. That was right. In fact, it was Connick. I was getting them confused again. Geez, they...
And again, the wrong ball in the wrong kicking footballer.
Correct.
So ball up inside forward 50. Dragons probably need the next one to say the least. Lakey couldn't quite trap it. Merritt went through and knocked it forward. Then he was able to pick it up. Handball to Cadillo. Cadillo off to the run of Lord. Lord has a bounce. Macklin Lord then delivers the ball inside forward 50. It's a beautiful kick from Lord and he absolutely laced it out. And leading back was a brilliant mark taken.
It's got to be Johnson,
and
doesn't it?
And it's Dylan Johnson. That kick was on a platter for Dylan Johnson. He had to turn his head. He was almost like a wide receiver and he just knew where the ball was going to be. And it's a mark to Dylan Johnson, and this will be a big goal if he kicks this, probably against the flow of play of the last 5 minutes.
Conversely, you just saw the entry then to Dylan Johnson from Macklin Lord. Advantage kick, and he's missed.
So Johnson has put it to the right for a minor score. He'll be disappointed with that one. 8-7-55, the margin goes out to 18 points, which is an even 3 goals. Sandhurst 5-7-37, 18.5 gone. Third quarter. Score sponsor, Bendigo City Framers, where local footy lives, at Fresh Bendigo.
Need to make them pay, and they haven't. So Sandhurst, through Curnow, plays on from fullback, will send it wide, swimming pool side. Good defensive punch by Reaper, who's come down the field and put a punch over the boundary line. We'll have a ball in.
Don't you love that as a defender? Punching it over the fence from a kick in. Everyone gets around you and you're up and about like a big Bantam rooster.
Yeah, you trot with the chest out and loving life for the moment as a backman. Let's see what happens here with the Dogs again. Benaki receives a handball, goes inboard. Johnson again on the end of another one who's playing in a dangerous position for a small man, and at the top of the square basically he'll have a shot at goal.
He just finds space, doesn't he? He's playing on a wing and he's managed to catch him in front, 30 out.
He missed a goal from a similar position.
He won't miss this one.
No. he's probably a little bit wider than he was. I don't like it when they go one step, two step, bang, because that's just not the normal way to kick it. And he's kicked it behind, Don.
Sounds like your dancing moves.
Yeah, well, it was. It was just, it wasn't fluent and it didn't flow. 37 playing, 56 Dogs lead, 20 minutes gone, third term.
How are they going? Dancing moves.
Oh, yeah. You know.
So Free brings the ball back into play for Sandhurst. He runs his distance before setting a kick, which just skews off the side of the boot to Hood. And it's just some uncharacteristic mistakes from Sandhurst coming into this game. And you genuinely just think like they don't know what to do at the moment, Don. Terrific pressure from Gisborne. It's got them second guessing at all costs.
The pressure acts from Gisborne are absolutely fantastic, and they're finding Gisborne wanting here. Sorry, Sandhurst wanting. Every time it hits the ground, Gisborne are on it.
Throw eight right in front of us in our broadcast position, knocked down. It's taken by Tarju, who's taken in a strong Benaki tackle and will go inside forward 50. In the MCDFNL, 30 minutes gone in the third quarter. It is Natty Bialaba 11-8-74, leading Harcourt 5-2-32. So Natty Bialaba almost got 1 foot in the grand final.
In the A-grade netball, Gisborne lead 27
sorry
to 22.
to cut you off, but Flynn Lakey's just had a flying shot that's almost gone right to the line. And Bryce Curnow knocks it through for a minor score. Sorry, Johnny.
That's all right. Bit of excitement in the background. So in the A-grade, Gisborne 27, lead Sandhurst 22. As the ball comes in from the kick in from fullback, it was Free. He sends it wide to the outer side. Lord did well defensively for the Dogs. As the ball spills to the wing now, they dive in front over the top of the footy. And we'll have a stoppage and we'll have a ball up.
You're just watching Cooper Smith there. He had the run of the ball. Sometimes you just don't have to take the footy. Just keep it rolling, keep it pushing forward. Where he took the ball and then copped the tackle.
Sexton won the tap, but they tapped it straight to spear of the Dogs. Dogs go inside forward 50, shallow again. As Merritt gets involved, dishes off a handball. He goes to Cardillo, who goes goalward. Cardillo has put it.
I'd like to look at that again.
Touched on the goal line, diving fingers there for Curnow and a goalkeeper. And yeah, well, it's in the book as a behind. 37 playing 58, Gisborne lead.
Not sure the crowd behind thought that one was over. As quick ball in from Curnow. It'll come back because it's straight to Scanlon. Scanlon handballs off. Now they'll thump it inside forward 50. The Dogs, McKenna's in a one-on-one. Flying in from the side, Dennehy! He's stretched out and he's going to get paid the mark. Jack Dennehy.
Geez, they're under the pump, aren't they, Sandhurst? They're just belting the ball back in Gisborne.
It looked like it was a one-on-one for McKenna, but Zach Dennehy came from the side and he had to stretch right out to bring it in.
Rough day for Isaac.
Terrific grab. We'll leave that one alone as Dennehy comes in from directly in front of goals, puts through the goal, and the Gisborne Bulldogs are well on their way to a spot in a grand final. They have got a good lead in this game. It's nowhere near over yet, but it's a handy lead. 9-10-64, Sandhurst 5-7-37 as we approach three-quarter time. Score sponsor, Jason Westcott Builder. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Why didn't you want to have a crack at that one? I've set that one up beautifully. Bit rough.
The under-18s won earlier for Sandhurst, and he's the coach of the under-18s, Isaac Ruff. So
he spent his tickets there.
He has struggled today, but hasn't he? He's been under pressure. But
both shoulders taped up.
He's who's he got now? McKenna down there.
Well, he likes to rough him up, but he just doesn't seem to be getting near the footy.
Not today. It's not his
Tough
day.
matchup though, Guy McKenna.
As this match progresses, as I said earlier, we're all expecting Sandhurst to come, and they're just not. As we're waiting for the footy to come.
Talking about the ex-Gold Coast coach there, Guy McKenna.
Yeah, that's Paddy's brother.
Now we'll get ready for the restart. We've still got a quarter and probably 6 or 7 minutes remaining.
Did Zach Dennehy kick that to the popper there, did he?
He did.
Just come back?
They just don't feel like it now, the Dragons. They need somebody to just grab it by the scruff of the neck. Who will it be? Sexton now in the ruck, but Scanlon won it. Noah Walsh tries to make a path. Turnover, picked up by Scanlon of the Dogs. Puts it inside forward 50, running with the fly to the footy. Probably should have went for it, then he let it go. Johnson playing deep in the forward zone now for the Dogs. Puts it over the boundary line. 20 around from the goal. He's attacking. And Gisborne are in attack. They lead 64-37. 24 minutes gone in this third term. This quarter is sponsored by Central Kitchens in Bendigo. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
So we throw in, and you just think if Gisborne kick one here from this contest, it will be well on their way. Dennehy stays out of the ruck. He rolls through the middle, and Zach Dennehy straight out of the ruck slots the goal. And this game is at boiling point if you're a Sandhurst supporter. Zach Dennehy is doing what he likes inside forward 50. He's kicked the last 2 goals of the game. And Gisborne have kicked 10-10-70 to Sandhurst, 5-7-37. 25 minutes gone, third quarter. Score sponsor, Daily Bricklaying and Construction. All too easy for Zach Dennehy.
I was just watching a little bit earlier that Liam Island was holding on to him, giving him a little bit, and Zach's had 2 moments in the last 2 minutes to kick two absolute ripping goals.
He has. Well, Sandhurst kicked 5 goals. They've got to kick another 5 to be equal with Gisborne goal-wise, and they're still trailing, if that made sense. So Gisborne are 10 goals and Sandhurst are 5, and we've only got a quarter and a bit remaining. Can they just muster something here? But I don't reckon they can. The Dogs just are on fire. Scanlon missed a ball, a fresh area, which he normally would have kicked, caused a turnover. Dragons will kick it now to half forward. Coughlin picked it up one hand, goes inboard, gives it to Wilkinson. Good, strong tackling. Love the style then of Ainsworth of the Dogs. They're up and about, and a shot randomly from goal for the Dragons just went nowhere. Polpratt, and it'll be a minor score. The intensity for the Dogs is up and about. 38 playing 70. They lead. 26 minutes gone, third term.
It's just no time for Gisborne to do anything. Sandhurst. How am I going? Sandhurst to do anything with the footy. Every time that they pick it up, bang, tackle. You've got to love that desire from Gisborne.
Short pass into the pocket for the Dogs. They'll clear it out of defence, up towards centre of the wing. Fly from the back. Good mark taken by Scanlon. Haven't they loved having him back in the side today? Scanlon quickly wheels and goes. Chips the kick up to a hard-leading McKenna. McKenna marks at centre wing. Has got options for him, streaming inside forward 50. The kick was a little bit shallow, but he'd fallen over Dylan Johnson, and he almost taken the mark as he was falling down. The kick almost landed on his lap. And it wasn't paid. We'll have a ball up inside forward 50. Wouldn't have that been some sort of luck for Dylan Johnson?
Pay the effort. Have a look at that on the video when you get a chance.
Inside forward 50. Umpire wastes no time balling it up. Dennehy lurking again. Might have been blocked
Dennehy
out of it.
Has to be
and
a block.
Dennehy can go back for 3 goals in a row. Talk about moments and big-time players standing up. You know him very well. But he kicks this. He's kicked the last 3 of the game and almost put Gisborne out of reach, I reckon, if he kicks this goal.
Well, he's kicked 2 in red time. It's 27 minutes gone, and he's lining up for his 3rd goal. He's kicked the last 2.
He did call a block, and it just felt like he was trying to burst through, and Sexton was just in the way. So Dennehy for number 3 in a row. He goes goalwards. He puts it through, gives the big celebration. 3 for Zach Dennehy. 3 in the space of 5 minutes, and Gisborne have blown this game right apart at the QEO. And what have Sandhurst got? They haven't had too many questions to answer this year, but they've got a big one to answer today. 11-10-76 playing the Dragons, 5-8-38 as we approach 3/4 time. Score sponsor, Don Smallgoods is Don is good.
All started Jack Scanlon off centre half back with a terrific clunk. Paddy McKenna, and then straight into that forward 50 again and pressuring Sandhurst defenders constantly.
Jack Scanlon has taken the Dogs next level from what I've seen. He's such an important addition. Now Benaki, he's important as well. They're all lining up. It's a long kick to Jed Dennehy, brother of Zach. Takes a nice, strong contested mark. Handball forward to Zeb Bartels. Short pass. Here's the man of the moment. Zach Dennehy, have a shot. You're only 80 from goal. The way you run and you'll kick it. He now decides to slow it down. He'll look to the top of the square, puts it corridor, and it's a turnover. He kicked it straight to Isaac Ruff of the Dragons.
Ruff just got in front of his opponent and took the intercept mark. 38 playing 76. Who would have thought this coming here today at the QEO? Big warning signs for the Gisborne Bulldogs as Ruff will send it out wide. Strong mark taken. Maxted, strong above his head as always. Centre wing position for Sandhurst.
Your key forward's marking across half back. It's got to tell you something, doesn't it?
He chips short to Bryce Curnow. There is absolutely nothing further forward.
No metres
gained.
gained. It's actually gone back 15.
I haven't known what to do with it this
Well, they've got no one to clunk the
Sandhurst.
ball down the line, and there's just no run whatsoever, no lane change. I just don't know what their footy's about. They don't know either.
Well, Gisborne have really put it to them, and I think they're very shocked on what's going on out here, Don Moran. So the short pass now finds its way into the hands of a teammate.
They're just trapped. They're just absolutely trapped.
He's got nothing to go to. The red sign is up in front of us as well, so maybe it's an instruction just to slow things down, but when you're trailing by this margin, you're probably better off trying to go forward even late in this quarter as the contest hits the pack, and we'll have a ball up centre wing position, pull side.
A-grade netball, it is Gisborne 35 leading Sandhurst 26. So Gisborne on fire in the A-grade netball and the football here. Back at the QEO, they'll have possession. Lakey goes back. Ainsworth getting involved. There was a smother in there. Now the ball spills. There will be a turnover. Now the Dragons. Polpratt received a handball and they'll put it inside forward 50. Green hit the contest hard. Reaper, calm and cool under pressure. Gave it to a teammate, which was Normington. Normington kicks it further afield and they'll slow it right down now to the outer side, and Scanlon getting his hands on the footy again.
What a quarter he's had, Jack Scanlon. Huge inclusion to this Gisborne team. Didn't play last week in the game against the Storm. Clears it up towards centre half forward. There was a little bit of a... I was about to say, it was almost like it let out a little fart, that siren there.
Oh.
So it is three-quarter time at the QEO.
Glad you went there, really.
And it was Sandhurst. Well, they've been absolutely stunned. What can Ash Connick say to his side to get them involved in this final quarter? They trail 5-8-38 to Gisborne, 11-10-76. The final quarter to come from the QEO. It is the second semi-final between Sandhurst and Gisborne. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
The finals are now upon us. Let's have a look at the top 5 from the first week. Number 1, we kick it off. Thomas Tomer here from Golden Square. Beautiful work, just using his pace. Got over the back, unloaded from 50, got tackled at the same time as well, and bounces it through. Number 2, Jordan Rosengren here from Golden Square. Just a lovely mark, just showing his strength. Got to the front of the pack and took a big grab. Number 3 here, Shane Clough from Gisborne. This is a class finish outside of the boot from the boundary. Oh, yeah. It's Jack O'Shaughnessy here from Eaglehawk. Pack your bags, get ready to take flight. This is an absolute hanger. Look at him go on the second grab as well. Secured it. Number 5 is Dylan Johnson here from Gisborne. He had 5 goals this afternoon. This is probably his best one. Plenty of pace to burn. Right on 50. Unloads. Oh, yeah.
Back here at the QEO, it is the semi-final number 2. It is Sandhurst 5-8-38 to Gisborne 11-10-76. And it is all Gisborne in this game at the moment, but Sandhurst have got a long way to come back. But if anyone in Bendigo footy can do it, it will be Sandhurst in the second semi-final. 5-8-38 Sandhurst, 11-10-76 Gisborne. Three-quarter time in the Maryborough Castlemaine Footy League. It is Natty Bialba in big control, 13-19, 81 to Harcourt, 5-4-34. So Natty Bialba looking likely through to a grand final against the winner of Lexton and Trentham, which will be tomorrow. And we look like we will have our first premiere for the year. White Hills will be completing the clean sweep in the Heathcote District Footy League. They lead 13-9, 87 to Leachwell Gumbau, 4-2-26 at three-quarter time. Liam Bartels has 6 goals in that game, so he'll be on his way to a Best on Ground award, you would think, with 6 goals in a big White Hills win. In the North Central Footy League, it is also three-quarter time, and Natty, it is Sea Lake 10-5-65 to Wedderburn 2-7-19. And in the A-grade netball, Gisborne 37 leading Sandhurst 28. The Dogs looking like they will be through to a grand final in A-grade netball. The goal kickers here at the QEO, it is 3 to Zach Dennehay. They came as the 3 last goals of the quarter. And then singles to Benaki, Clough, Harry Loxmore, Braden Blake, Dylan Johnson, James Gray and Pat McKenna. While for Sandhurst, 2 to Fergus Green. Both come in the first quarter, hardly sighted since. Singles to Kobe Maxted, Lockie Tarju and Lockie Wright. Johnny Hunter, who are you looking at who has been good for Sandhurst so far, and who will have to stand up if they are to come back and win this game?
Well, a lot of
and are they any chance?
Well, I don't think they are a chance, Cam, but the better players, I think James Coughlin for 4 quarters has been pretty good. Lockie Hood getting involved. And the others really floated in and out of the game. No one's really got hold of it, but all the big names need to. Walsh through the middle, Fergus Green, Stagg, and particularly Tardrew. He doesn't seem to have the influence that he has had in previous games.
Yeah, for me, Jack Scanlon was outstanding and really turned the tides big time when Sandhurst had that first 10 minutes. And Zach Dennehy stood up, 3 goals in a quarter, and interestingly enough, seems to have gone to Bryce Curnow. So Bryce Curnow needs to tighten up and show some respect to the forwards. Other players I'd make mention, Dylan Johnson's been terrific. Macklin Lord came into the game and used the ball well.
Let's get the third quarter underway. In this second semi-final, it's Gisborne playing Sandhurst. Sandhurst, big job to do in this final term. 5-8-38, they trail Gisborne 11-10-76. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Here's Cameron Power.
Final quarter underway. What have Sandhurst got? Tardrew wins the clearance. He bangs it inside forward. 50 strong Mark Maxted. He's 50 out from goal directly in front, but he is capable from here. We've seen him dob them from here plenty of times before. Down on the mark has been forced back to 45, so this would be the fast start. How many seconds was it in that second quarter when they kicked a goal? It might be under 30 again in this quarter, Dom.
It was 18, I reckon.
26-18, and he marked that at 9 seconds.
So it has been a big start each quarter for Sandhurst. Kobe Maxted from 50. It's high. It's right to the line. He was never in doubt, Kobe Maxted. He is a star. He's got his second and a fast start to the final quarter. And it only takes them 40 seconds to peg one back. So it is well and truly game on here at the QEO. And the Sandhurst Dragons 6-8-44, Gisborne 11-10-76. Free kick inside forward 50 might be going to Bryce Curnow. And this might be 2 goals in a minute for Sandhurst. And this is a potential game changer, Don Moran. What has happened there? Bryce Curnow is receiving a free kick right after Maxted goal, 25 out directly in front. The worst possible start if you're Gisborne.
I think there's a spy in the room. I think I made mention of that off air, wasn't it? Move the magnets around, throw Bryce Curnow forward.
So for 2 goals in 2 kicks, Bryce Curnow, 25 out directly in front. Oh, Johnny, it's game on here at the QEO. Curnow goes forward and kicks the goal. 2 ills in less than 1 minute of playing time. And all of a sudden, it's back to a very manageable 26 points. 7-8-50 Dragons, 11-10-76 Gisborne Bulldogs. You wrote them off. It's not game over yet. Minute and a half gone, final quarter. Score sponsor, Bendigo City Framers.
I'm going to put my tips away. Not going to give them any game or match insights to some strategy, but it seems to have worked.
Well, when you get an error like that, what you're doing, you're handing over momentum. That's what you're doing. In the modern game, it's a dangerous ploy. Let's see whether Dragons can capitalise. Tardru's kick was smothered out of the middle, but it was swooped on by Noah Walsh. Inside forward 50, Dragons looking there for a Stag. Stag couldn't get it. They need to be careful here, the Dogs. Spear, handball over the top to Normington. Normington's tackled. He goes forward to Lakey. Lakey, kick is intercepted. Connick, handball's inboard. Tardru now, the ball's in his hands. He'll go to the pocket. They'll set themselves. Green got his hands on the footy and handball over the top. Spear. Coughlin's still in the contest. He's got time. He's got space. He should have had a shot. He looked inboard. That wasn't the option to go to. Why go backwards, Don Moran? And he put it out of bounds 20 metres out from goal.
Backwards to a left footer from the wrong side as well.
Have a shot.
Step back inside and back yourself in, James Coughlin.
Inside forward 50. Dragons are pressing hard here. Spear gets the quick handball. Dennehy will emerge with it for Gisborne, and he just decides to thump it out of there. Carragher used his body nicely in the middle of the ground, took the mark. He'll send the quick kick across to Eureka. Eureka's got a kick to free down the line if he wants it. Didn't quite spot him, and Macklin Lord gets back to cover off that one. So Eureka will then send it towards Maxted, who comes charging out. He marks it strong above his head. Might be a big last quarter for Kobe Maxted. Into the pocket he goes for Green, diving in. Couldn't quite get him. Green, he brought the ball back in, looks for a target. Handball to the feet of Spear, but came to Merritt. And then Merritt gets it off to Lord. Lord will just send it down the grandstand side wing. Carragher pushed out of it by Dennehy. It fills forward to Dylan Johnson.
Johnson now a bounce. Handball to space. Islands there for the Dragons. Falls over at the wrong time. Manages to give it off to Wright. Wright kicks it down the line. Lord there might have been boundary line the winner. And it is. Broadcast side. Commentary side in front of the grandstand will have a ball in. 26-point margin. 4 minutes have gone. Final term. Dragons are pushing. They've kicked the 2 opening goals of this quarter. Now it's Blake. Wins it by hand. Gives it to Benaki. Benaki by hand to Lakey. Lakey's kick was smothered by Hood. Lakey plays on further afield and puts it over the boundary line. And we haven't hardly moved at all. Centre wing, broadcast side, ball in, 26-point margin. Dogs lead.
Positive start for Sandhurst. They're up and about.
So Sexton and Blake will call it a dead heat in the contest as it comes out. Handball by Cadillo to Lakey. Lakey dribbles one further forward. Hood will be back there first for Sandhurst and will go out of bounds. In fact, it's come out of bounds on the full. So free kick will go the way of Sandhurst. Must have come off the boot of a Gisborne player at the last second then. Hard up against the boundary line, right in front of the Gisborne coach's bench. So he'll come down the grandstand side wing. It's a high ball. Spear sets himself, but Tardru comes and takes the mark from behind. Tardru takes the mark. He quickly wheels. Curno's out on his own, but the kick went to Green in a 2-on-1. It spills out the back. Coughlin picks it up. Can he get the handball off to Green? Curno back to Green. Green will snap on the left, and he just shanked the ball, Fergus Green, and he's put it out a bit now. He's just snuck it in for a minor score. Wow, Fergus Green, that would have been some goal. That would have almost blew the top off the QEO here. 11-10-76 Gisborne, 7-9-51 Sandhurst. 5 minutes gone in the final quarter.
Norman,
Jack Reaper read that beautifully. Honestly, the vision from Fergus Green to get back inside and have that shot was fairly impressive. He's looking alive.
Now McKenna is on the outer side wing. The kick coming from full back, and now they're away to half forward. Merritt has one bounce. It's an awkward looking ball inside forward 50. Bounces over the top. Scanlon's there. Tries to punch the footy. 30 metres out from goal. Lord swooped on it for the Dogs and went on his right foot, which is his wrong foot. Went up the chimney, and we've got a whistle on play. It might be a free kick, Dogs, is it?
Block.
A block. So second important block we've seen of the game, and it will be the Dogs on a pretty tight angle.
Jeez, they got out of jail there, didn't they?
I reckon it's James Gray, in fact. Let's have a look. They both look alike.
No, it's definitely Matty Merritt.
Right, Merritt. We'll go with Merritt.
Because James Gray standing on the top of 50 out here, Johnny.
Merritt. They're both similar type players. They've both had influential games this afternoon. He's on a pretty tight angle. He's taken a Jeff Thompson run-up. You know who Jeff Thompson is, Cam? As the man on the mark only stands 25 metres out. Let's see what Merritt does with it. Kicks a goal.
That's a nice settler.
A steadier. Good call there, Don Moran, for the Dogs. Score sponsor, Daily Bricklaying and Construction. That takes the Dogs to 12:10.82. They lead Sandhurst 7:9.51, 7 minutes gone, final term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Exactly, settler, isn't it? You just need to get back against the flow. 2 quick goals to Sandhurst, and now Gisborne have replied. There's still a little bit going on out in this forward 50 for Sandhurst. Let's hope there's not another free kick paid.
I wish James Coglan had a shot at that goal when they were on a roll.
It's a one gone begging, isn't it?
There was one before. Bryce Curnow was out on his own. The kick just had to hit him. Instead, it went to a green on a 2-on-1 that turned over. Back in the middle we go. Blake will get the clearance for the Dogs. Kick smothered by Tarju. Just sockers it forward. No one within 15 metres of that ball. Curnow will win the race back there. He tried to paddle it forward. Reaper then overran the footy as well. Comes out to Lakey, who had his head over the footy, and he was caught high. He had his head over the footy, picking up the footy. That was high. So the free kick will go the way of Flynn Lakey. I get when people say he ducked a little bit, but he did have his head down as he was trying to pick that ball up, John.
Nowadays,
that's a little bit different to someone throwing their head back, in my opinion.
But you lead with the head. But anyway, it doesn't matter because it's Lakey that got the free kick. Lakey of the Dogs, beyond 50 now. Ball spills to Tananelli. And right in front of the Sandhurst coach's box, in front of us, broadcast side, commentary side, right half forward, Sandhurst in attack. It'll be a ball in.
This boundary umpire's been short all day, John. So I'm tipping it's coming to the front.
So, geez, the ruckmen are a long way back too. Blake got caught to the back of the pack but tapped it. Stagg tried to swoop on it. A little ball by Free was ineffective. Lord intercepted. He runs down the wing. One bounce on the left. Macklin Lord for the Dogs, and it might be a mark to McKenna. Kick. McKenna hard up against the boundary line. He'll come indoor corridor. Good strong pass, good lead. There might be a 50, a little bit of a push. This one's James Gray, and he's probably too far from home. Play on, short pass forward, effective.
Brad Benacki.
Benacki, he's a pretty good straight kick, field kicking anyway. Let's see what he does, having a shot at goal to the Barnard Street end on.
It was a solid lead up, wasn't it? Macklin Lord's breakaway on the wing then and a bounce, but the kick to grass to Paddy McKenna was fantastic. That's the delivery that every forward would like to be on the end of.
I like this setup that they've got there with Gray and Merritt. They both look alike, the way they move, the way they kick the footy towards goal. And Benacki as well. He pops it through for the Dogs, and that's just about it, you would think. The little bit of a whimper's been snuffed out pretty quickly. 13:10.88 to 7:8.51. Dogs lead. Score sponsor Don Smallgoods. Don is good. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. We've gone 10 minutes final term.
So do you think that the Gray and Merritt lookalikes confusing the defenders of Sandhurst, John?
I just think I like the way they play. They both play similar, and they just provide options up forward.
Oh, totally. And they spread. Gisborne spread the defence of Sandhurst.
Yeah.
Well, Gisborne asked the questions and Sandhurst responded, but Gisborne have now responded again, and they're out back to where they started at three-quarter time. Deflating if you're Sandhurst. Blake works the kick towards centre half forward. Strong mark taken right on the 50. Here's Dennehy. This is Zach Dennehy. He hit 3 goals in that last quarter. He's 60 metres out from goal, but he looks like he's going to fancy himself. He's a big booming kick. We do know that. But he's going to line him up. Might pull the short pass at the last second as Dennehy. He does just that. Sends it to the hot spot. Needs a fly, comes off hand, Sandhurst knock it forward, but it spills out. It'll be a chance to be sent inside by Normington. Normington's kick didn't quite hit a target. Sandhurst will be able to reprieve. They're out of defence. They'll work it up to the wing, and now they'll chip in board to Bryce Curnow.
It come from Jake McLean. Curnow gave it to Stagg in his 250th game now. He'll go inside forward 50. It's a poor kick. He's kicked it straight to the opposition in Gisborne. They're just doing what they like now, Gisborne. Taking control of this game again. Into the path of Luxmore. Across half-back to the wing, to Lord. He's had a lot of the footy, Lord, and his disposal's been better this week, Don. Lord on the left. Now he'll look. He'll look to go long inside forward 50. They'll set themselves. Big pack forms. Mark! Gisborne.
Braden Blake? No.
It's with Cardillo, and he's taken a good, strong contested mark, 49 from goal.
So Fergus Green is a bit proppy after that delivery, and so he should be with the way it's coming in.
Cardillo for the Dogs. Man on the mark for Sandhurst stands at 48 metres. Barnard Street end. If there ever needed to be a sealer, this will be it. It'll be a good kick from here. He spreads right as they do, searching for distance. Won't make the distance. They'll set themselves. There's Dennehy's everywhere down at the goal line. Let's see which one he could pick out. It was Zach who flew high, flew early. Then the ball via Hood for the Dragons moved towards the boundary line and cleverly over. We'll have a ball in 15 around from goal. The Dogs attack. They lead 88 to 51, 12 minutes gone. Final turn.
Throwing inside forward 50. Handball backwards for the Dogs. Bell Bartels was met by Carraher, who tried to paddle it forward. Jimmy Coughlin went in hard. Spills out now. They go backwards to Lakey. Lakey's got time to chip a short pass, which is really nice, to Dylan Johnson, who marks off 50 out from goal. So Dylan Johnson. Been a little bit quieter for his lofty standards, but still's been very, very strong. 1 goal in the game today. He'll then chip a pass into a hard lead, and Sandhurst have completely switched off. And the mark is taken right in front of the South Bendigo poolside changes room for the Dogs.
Cardillo it is.
And it is Jackson Cardillo, but I think Sandhurst have almost clocked off this game, Don Moran.
Yeah, but the look of Harrison Free coming off the bench there, he looked like he would definitely had enough.
Cardillo goes goalwards. It starts right and stays right, minus score. So they increase their lead out to 38 points, 89 playing 51. Gisborne leading. Sandhurst has got to throw all caution to the wind now from here if there are any chance.
So, played on for fullback now. Long kick. Dragons searching. Spear. He's getting involved. Playing right up the field. Uncontested. Took a marked on. I see you put your hands in the air thinking, what is going on here?
No, I just didn't understand the intent of the kick in.
They probably need to put this one in the bag and forget about it, I reckon, Sandhurst, and just regroup next week. They've got the double chance. It's on half forward now for the Dogs. All tied up. Stoppage. But a lot to no, in fact, it's a free kick to the Dragons to Stagg. But a lot to like from Gisborne. Scanlon has been a big in, Don.
Oh, huge in, hasn't he? Yeah, he's just given them... and the team...
That's a big downfield free kick. Player was absolutely collected then. As
Dylan Johnson, was it, would give it out, I think.
Yeah,
So Maxted now, he'll go long from the wing. He's got the free kick. They'll set themselves. Wilkinson was the target. Green's looking up the field. A frustrated Fergus Green as the ball goes out of bounds. 30 around from goal, but he's been frustrated in this last, the last couple of quarters, Don.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. But in regards to Jack Scanlon, he's just given Braden Blake an opportunity to rest up. The extra ruckman today has helped them amazingly.
Tarju knocks it down. Kerno trying to emerge with it. Spills out. Walsh to Hood. Hood sidesteps one way, then goes back to Kerno. They're on different wavelengths as he tries to paddle it in direction of Carraher. Gray went through and handballed it forward, but it was turned over. Ended up with Lockie Wright. Wright was tackled right in front of us now, broadcast position. I'm not handing this one over, John Hunter. It's 51 playing 89. Gisborne in the lead. Umpire Carter has done a good job this afternoon. Son of the great Gavin Carter will throw the ball up in the air. I know Gavin will be listening. He'll like that one. Comes out. Benaki taken in the tackle. Will have another ball up. You can have it this time. John Hunter, 89 playing 51 in favour of the Gisborne Bulldogs.
We've got a final score in the A-grade netball. Gisborne 51 have defeated Sandhurst 38. So Gisborne having a good day here today at the QEO on the second semi-final day as the ball goes inside forward 50 for Sandhurst. But Dennehy did well. Dish it off to a teammate who kicks it long to the wing now. They're just lining up here, Dogs. Free kick to Pat McKenna on the true centre wing for 1-2 high by Carraher.
It's hard for Carraher to get up and collect Pat McKenna high when a ball like that.
McKenna spreads it wide to Lord. Had a good game this afternoon, Lord, for the Dogs. Centre wing on the left, short pass forward. Cardillo receives.
He's definitely responded after last
Shapano,
week to
in fact.
Don Moran.
He might have listened to the audio.
Shapano with the footy. Oh, just sold some candy far too easily, and he goes inside forward 50. They'll set themselves. Big punch. Dragons did well. Tanner Nally getting involved, and the ball goes over the boundary line. 35 from home. Dogs in attack. They lead 89 to 51 Dragons. 16 and a half gone. Final term. This term sponsored final term by Central Kitchens in Bendigo. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Going inside forward 50. Uritza's going to handball out. Lockie Wright, who clears the kick down the line. Coming in from the side, Wilkinson couldn't quite take the mark, spills to ground level. Dogs will pursue it hard after it. But they're just harder at the footy today, Gisborne, and they've really stunned Sandhurst, and it's going to be a long way back from here for the Sandhurst Dragons, not just today, Don Moran, but for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, Gisborne's hustle's been amazing. They just continue to hustle, harass.
Merritt gets the
pressure
handball
on
off
everywhere.
the ball, handball's off. Cadillo sends it inside forward 50. Carraher takes a one-handed defensive mark for Sandhurst.
Carraher, he'll spread it wide to the outer side, swimming pool side. Wharton was the target. Now on the true centre wing. Good strong tackling. Luxmore got tackled, umpire let play go on. Now to be Sandhurst through Jake McLean. Handball through the middle to Stagg. Stagg just hurt himself when he kicked it. In fact, I think he might have been a little bit even ashamed then, Don, because he's turned it over, kicked it straight to Jed Danahy.
Or did he get a wedge off the ground?
Yeah, it was pain, but I think it was pain because of the poor kick. Connick now to Ureta by hand, to Joel Wharton by hand. Ureta runs on, receives a handball to half forward. Now the Dragons, they'll go inside forward 50. Poor kick, he kicked it straight to the opposition in Vescovi. Now contest forms. Danahy picked it up, that's Jed, off the side of the boot. Good strong contested play, James Coghlan Dragons, 52 from home. Outer side, Bell Bartels tried to make a pass for the Dogs, can't. Stoppage, ball up, 50 from home. In fact, 60 Dragons in attack.
And I've been banging on about it all day, but who's the forward? Fergus Green or Vescovi? Vescovi beat him to the ball because the ball was kicked poorly to him.
I reckon Vescovi's having a very underrated day today as Bell Bartels clears the kick out of defence. And in the Loddon Valley Footy League, well, if there was any chance of a close game, it is not the case in the last quarter. Morong 19-11, 125, leading Bridgewater 8-7-55.
Jed Danahy, he's done all right on Maxted as well, a young player against, well, a superstar as you describe him there, Cam, as Wilkinson's tackled for the Dragons at 40 and will have a ball up.
Yeah, very good player, Kobe Maxted, represented the Bendigo Interleague team this year as well. Played a bit of VFL footy last year, back full-time at the Sandhurst Dragons. Wood gets that ball backwards, handballs off McLean, will then chip it into the pocket looking for Stagg, who just looks absolutely gas chasing after that footy, and he was beaten to the footy there by Jared Ainsworth, who will happily see it across the boundary line for a boundary.
So there was an opportunity then. If Jake McLean hit Stagg, there'd be a set shot now.
Umpire will throw it in. 51.
It's been a problem with Sandhurst for a few games this year, their kicking efficiency.
Under pressure, yes.
50.
Yep.
Blake wins a tap from the throw-in. Lakey picked it up for the Dragons, for the Dogs.
Do I need to say it, Don? Do I need to say it?
Good luck. Not going to get the reward. Say it so the listeners can hear it.
We haven't heard it for about 5 minutes, so...
Well, if we were playing in the big AFL leagues, it would have been insufficient intent, but we don't get it paid down here. It's a pet peeve of mine. Boundary umpire throws the ball in. It comes to Spear, who roved it off the tap. Spear bangs it into the middle of the ground. Carraher tried to sit himself underneath. He did well in the end to take the mark. He knew contact was coming and got it. Quickly wheels out. Kick was not great. It might work out for Jimmy Coghlan. Didn't quite get the bounce he was after. Gisborne will work it forward. Turnover though. Ruff comes in for Sandhurst. He's pounced upon as soon as he got the tackle.
It's going in the back.
And he'll get a free kick for one in the back. Isaac Ruff. It was a bit of a rough tackle and he'll be rewarded.
Ruff, short ball to Stagg on half forward. Stagg's invited to play on, which he wasn't happy about, but he did, and put it down the throat of Matty Wilkinson, who come out like a train. And that delivery's better, Don, because he's got a shot at goal, 20 out, not much of an angle.
And it was Noah Walsh, even though you gave Staggy the reward on that
Noah
kick.
Walsh, did I say Stagg?
But that's the difference. They're the guys that need to be delivering the ball in forward 50.
Wilkinson hits the post, slams it in. And it's a minor score. Probably rusted a little bit in the end. 17-52 to a 13-11-89. Dogs lead, 21 gone. Final term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
So Spear will bring the ball back into play. This game's well and truly over now, John. Gisborne will be on their way to a grand final. Sandhurst will be in the under-18s and the reserves, but they're going to have to do it the hard way in senior football in 2024. The winner of tomorrow's game between Strathfield Say and Golden Square will do battle here next week. Benaki gets it, handballs off, works out to Bell Bartels, who sends it further down the line for the Dogs. Bouncing around, coming through, handball to Danahy. Danahy handball forward looking for Merritt. Carraher's been good for Sandhurst.
He stood up, hasn't he?
Maxted. Maxted gives it off, and now they send it inside forward 50.
Look at the kick in. Look at the kick in.
Spear's all back, and he takes a strong mark. He knew contact was coming from behind, and he receives.
It was absolute nothing kick.
Spear.
It was just a dump kick to a forward.
course, the other positive thing for Sandhurst today is Darcy Mills made a return into the reserves, and he got through unscathed as well. So he may be a chance to come back into the senior side next week for Sandhurst.
They need more than that from what we've seen today, but you always look a lot worse than what you are when you're not running, you're not mobile. They just haven't played the same game as Joel Wharton took a mark inside forward 50. They just haven't been the same old Dragons as we've seen all year.
Can we say the conditions might have suited Gisborne after what we were talking about during the pre-game, Don Moran?
Oh, for sure. They've got marking power and running power all over the ground.
Skinny Wharton misses. Minor score. It's been the story of the afternoon, it feels like, but they're both on 11 points each.
You could probably count his touches on one hand.
Yeah, 7-11 playing 13.
Zero influence.
Been a few players on this list, and I'm looking at a couple of players that have just drifted in and out of the game for Sandhurst. Gisborne bring the ball in. Mark taken on the far wing. Receiving the ball for the Dogs. It'll be Luxmore, who's got the bandage around the chin and the head. Bit of a strange setup. Might have caught one on the chin, was causing some blood maybe. He sends it further down the line. Big fly, no mark taken. Lakey at ground level, handballs outwards. Taken away.
Oh, that's a bit unlucky.
Forward by Benaki. Is it a free kick, Sandhurst?
Yeah.
It's a free kick, Sandhurst, and it should have been 50-metre penalty because Benaki kicked the ball after the whistle had been blown. And again, seem to let those little things fly in Bendigo footy. Eureka's chip short pass to Hood. Hood will then wheel it inside forward 50. This is better play for Wilkinson. It comes to Maxted. Maxted off to Smith. Smith has the goals open. Cooper Smith on the right will put through the goal. And Sandhurst have a very, very small pulse. There might be 4 or 5 minutes left to play in this game, and it's only a 3-goal ball game, John Hunter.
Well, I'm not sure about that, Cam. I don't...
It is 8-11-59 to 13-11-89. In fact, sorry, no, it's a 5-goal ball game, so probably a little bit further out than what I was thinking.
Going to say, I don't know which game you were watching. All of a sudden, it's got to 3 goals.
Yeah, 5 goals the margin, 8-11, 13-11. Score sponsor is Rural Outdoors in Castlemaine.
It'll be nice to see a bit of fight from Sandhurst here. This last, 6 minutes we're going to probably be looking at to see what side is either come back or stamp on their throat and choke them out.
Well, if there's 6 minutes to go, Lee Matthews still says it's possible, Don.
Yep, but I would like to see one of them put their hand up rather than just fight it out.
It's a 30-point margin. Very, very unlikely scenario. The way the Dogs have played all afternoon, as the Dogs will win it out to the middle and it'll slew wide. McLean for the Dragons will run onto it. Handball over the shoulder. He was looking for Ureta. Didn't work. Ireland as well, but it's all with Bell Bartels now of Gisborne. Inside forward 50, shallow, but off half back, Dragons running onto it will be free. Puts it on the outside of the boot, looks for Curnow. Spear did well defensively from the back of the pack. Curnow picked it up 51 metres from home. He's out now, handballs it, but handballs it to Spear. He was looking there for James Coughlin. Taps the ball to himself. Couldn't quite win it. Little toe poke in the direction of Paul Pratt, but the boundary line is nearby and wins the contest. And just underneath the scoreboard, 52 from a home. It is Sandhurst trailing by 30 points. They are in attack, and we've gone 25 and a half minutes in this final term.
We have throw in. Coming back the other way for the Dogs, Merritt. Handball off to Gray. Works it forward. Ruff then got it. Gave it off to Connick. Connick will send it inside forward 50 for Maxted. Good punch from behind from Dennehay. Followed it up with a secondary punch. It spills out the back. Turnover. Pelprat will send it towards the top of the goal square. One-on-one contest. Green couldn't quite take it. He was up against Vescovi, who's actually done a pretty good job, I think, today. Zach Vescovi. And it bounces away out of bounds. Boundary throw in underneath the scoreboard.
Yeah, it looks like Fergus Green was looking for a block there.
Final score, MCDFNL Natty Bialaba. They're through to their first grand final. They're 16-13, 109 to Harcourt, 8-5-53. They're the first team through to the grand final, I should say, John Hunter.
Now we're in the forward zone for Sandhurst. Ureta bangs the ball on the boot. He might get a free kick here.
Dumping tackle by Looks.
40 out from home. Well, in fact, a bit closer to that. Might be 38 where the man stands on the mark. And, well, here's that one goal that gets a little bit closer. Let's see what they can do, Don.
Yeah, well, they've got lots of flow at the moment and putting a lot of pressure on Gisborne's defence. So that's a positive.
We are in junk time, are we not?
Yeah, well, that's my point, is that it's good to see that Sandhurst haven't just put their driver away, and they're still having a crack. So doesn't matter whether they're in junk time, John, goals count.
You rate up. He does, and he counts that one as he puts it through for Sandhurst. 9th of the afternoon. I don't think they've led all afternoon, have they?
No, they haven't.
9-11, 65 Sandhurst. 13-11, 89 Dogs. Scoreboard sponsor Bendigo City Framers. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Full-time score in the Heathcote District Footy League. White Hills 17-11, 113 have defeated Leachville Gumbauer 6-6-42. Big win to White Hills. Buds Hells kicking 8 and Dole kicking 3. And in the North Central Footy League, it is Sea Lake Nandaly 11-6, 72 defeated Wedderburn 5-10-40. And of course, White Hills already winning. The reserves and under 18s have now taken the clean sweep on Heathcote District Footy League Grand Final day.
So Tananelli's gone in the ruck, so there's their issue, isn't it, when you look at it?
Yeah, they haven't really had a ruckman other than Sexton at times this year. Holding the ball, free kick will go the way of Sandhurst. So Tarju's got it. He'll quickly wheel it up towards centre-half forward towards Wharton. Kick didn't favour him at all. It's cleared away. Connick gets it. He'll wheel a high ball back inside forward 50. Needs someone to fly. Green paddles it forward. It spills out wide. It'll be a chance for a flying shot from McLean. Couldn't make boot to ball. It's sent right to the line. And off hands it goes through from Liam Spear. 66 playing 89. Spear quickly brings the short ball into Vescovi.
Vescovi with the footy for the Dogs. Impressive outfit performance this afternoon from the Dogs. All led by bringing Jack Scanlon back in the side. Speaking of which, he got his hands on the footy, then didn't quite mark it. Ureta tries to make a path for the Dragons. 49 from goals for the Dragons. It'll be a stoppage. He tried to run through a pack and couldn't. So to the city end. Long shadows here at the QEO. Perfect conditions. Walsh on the end of it to Ureta by hand. Gives it to Connick. Connick now goes to the pocket. To no man's land really in particular. So it's 48 from goal. And of course tomorrow, Golden Square up against the Storm, and the winner of that game will go on to play Sandhurst for a place in the grand final against Gisborne, who probably taking over premiership favouritism at the moment. Merritt's grabbed too high for the Dogs and will get a free kick by Tardru.
Yeah, Sandhurst, they finish on top of the ladder, but they're going to be forced to do it the hard way in 2024. The Gisborne Bulldogs book slot 1 in the 2024 Big Dance, which will be played here at the QEO in 2 weeks' time. 13-11, 89. They run out a very, very impressive victory over Sandhurst, 9-12, 66. And Don Moran, how does that see you looking at how well, obviously Gisborne are going to the grand final, but do you think Gisborne are now the outright favourites after what you've seen today?
I think so. They were winners all right across the entire ground. It wasn't just in certain spots or particular players that put their hand up to be the dominant player on the strong team performance by Gisborne. It just let Sandhurst a little bit wanting. It just, we mentioned in the call across the day that they were flat-footed. They looked like they didn't have any direction. They didn't look like they had any plan, and then just played into Gisborne's hands. So Gisborne's pressure, fantastic. Their hustle, their fight, their willingness to want to win the ball was outstanding. And it's tough when you go into the next week as Sandhurst, where what do? You freshen up? Do you rejig your plan? Bryce Curnow deep in the last quarter, which we mentioned in the box, mind you, because he was just making no influence whatsoever. He was getting shown, like the goal kickers that we saw. I think Zach Dennehy kicked 3 on him in 3 minutes, and they were playing on Bryce Curnow. Yeah. He can't, it's finals footy and good sides. You can't just roll off and try and just cover a space. You've got to play on someone when they've got such a potent front half. Their front half are just so impressive, from Pat McKenna, Harry Luxmore. Who do you leave? All of a sudden, we saw Cardello pop up, and you and John were talking about Gray and how he popped up and Merritt popped up. Like, they spread them.
Can I just say, it looks like a terrific gesture is being made here. I'm assuming this is what the Gisborne Bulldogs have come to the grandstand side boundary, and I reckon they're going to chair off Nick Stagg. And the Gisborne Bulldogs have come to congratulate Nick Stagg on 250 games, a magnificent player for the Sandhurst Dragons. Whether or not he gets chaired off or he just walks off and they clap him off, I'm not sure how that will go, but it's a good gesture from the Gisborne Bulldogs to get over and acknowledge Nick Stagg in game number 250. In fact, he is being chaired off here by Liam Ireland as well, so he's being chaired off, and a really good gesture from the Gisborne Bulldogs.
Yeah, it's really fitting. 250 games in Premier League football is a quality performance to have that longevity in the game, and being such a great footballer as well. It's an honour for Nick to be carried off by his team, but yeah, a really good gesture.
Jack
I'm with
Reaper,
you on that.
Terrific captain from the Dogs, leading the way on that front. So 13-11-89, playing 9-12-66 in the under-18s earlier. Sandhurst, they booked their spot in the grand final, winning